Hello. Today is an exciting day. We're finally going to fight Red. Whew, alright. Also, something else that's interesting, maybe not necessarily for you guys, but, oh, sorry, we're going to fight Blue. Sorry, I have color blindness. Funnily enough, today it was like the first cool day that I've experienced in a long time. Like, I woke up and I felt cold with the fan on. So I currently have the fan off, so there will be no fan background audio this time around. I'm just hoping my PC doesn't like heat up the room too much without the fan on. Anyway, let's get this started. Just gotta make sure that the, sometimes it takes a bit to pick up on the fact that, come on. I don't know why this is such a pain in the ass sometimes. There we go. Okay. Aren't we gonna fight orange-green? Oh, sorry, my bad. We're fighting orange-green today. So yeah, as you guys know, everybody's at level 82. I want everybody to be at level 88 before we fight Red, so... I only need to level everybody up 5 more times, because I do have 6 rare candies that I can use. So, yeah, I'll be getting everybody to level 87, then getting to level 88 via rare candies, and then we'll be fighting Red, so exciting stuff. Oops. This is like the exact opposite music you would expect from grinding to fight the hardest trainer in early Pokemon history. Good song though. Lily Cove City is quite a vibe. Oh my god, we're getting Pokemon very frequently here. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my god, what the hell? Do I need to put on the fucking repel? That's a bit more like it. My fighting Chartreuse, right? How did you know? Oh man, I'm so glad someone pointed it out. Crimson fight. Yep, that's it. His name is now Crimson. You might even call him Scarlet. No wait, sorry, that's gender bent. That's the gender bent version, the female version. Female version is Scarlet, male one is Crimson. Aren't we gonna fight 7? See, if you remove the first 4 letters of that word, you actually get a proper villain, N, from Gen 5. Can you put the actual game music for the fight? Yeah, I will. Don't worry. That's what I've been doing throughout this Nuzlocke. I've made sure to. Well, I think in most cases I've remembered to keep the game music on for the important fights. There might be a couple of gym fights that I didn't do that for, but like that doesn't bother me that much. Is this the fight of 7? Are we seriously going to go from referring to Red to making a Bite of 87 reference? What a fucking turnaround. Oh yeah, another thing, I will be turning battle animations back on when I fight Red. I've only got them turned off to try and make the grind a bit faster. It's a shame Rabbit isn't here to hear his own theme. I hope Rabbit's able to make it before we go and fight Red. Get punched, you silly bear. Here's a question for chat. I haven't actually I didn't talk about it in the last stream because I was so focused on playing Undertale, but it seems a bit more relevant to talk about now that we're playing a Pokemon game. What is everybody's thoughts on the Switch 2? Now that we've gotten past the high of the Direct, and you know we have this whole pricing kerfuffle and pre-order delays over in North America. Because I feel for you, if you're in North America, that fucking sucks. Especially if you're Canadian, because now the Canadian pre-orders have been delayed, and that was, like, the tariffs and, like, Trump being the president was completely out of their control, so, like, that's absolutely insane that they have to pay the price for that as well. The tariffs suck, that's what I think. That's pretty much... That's a factual thing. There's no like, There's no sugarcoating it, really. That's just how it is. Very excited, but still disappointed in the pricing. Yeah, definitely. I feel for you, Australian, paying 2 to 30% on games for no real reason. Charlie, once again... Oh, no, hang on. No, wait, you did say that the conversion price is based on digital assets, so that is actually... Look, it doesn't really bother me that much. At the end of the day, like when you do a conversion of our prices compared to American prices, it still ends up being slightly less. So, like, it doesn't really bother me that much. I'm just very fortunate to be in a situation where, as long as I don't miss out on any shifts over the next month and a half, month and 2/3, I will have enough money for the Switch 2 and possibly a Pro Controller. But, speaking on the Pro Controller, I'm very surprised that the charging grip for the Switch 2, it has the back buttons, the GLGR buttons, which is very surprising to me. They never like... Oh, I didn't mean to use surf there. They never like... I mean, I guess they never talked about the Joy-Con charging grip at all, but I was very surprised to see that that thing has back buttons on it. That's really nice. I had heard rumors that there was also an audio jack on it, but apparently that was false. It would have been awesome if there was also an audio jack on that, because audio jacks are a fucking must, in my opinion. Yo, Tags is back, hell yeah. If I say for no reason at all, because you can just kind of make up conversion ratios, I make the USD AUD conversion ratio to be 1 US equals 3 Australian, then it makes it look like you're paying way less. Yeah, but like if you're using the digital one, that's like on Google, then it's like 1.67, I think. Didn't they literally show off the audio jack on the Switch 2 Pro-Con? Sorry. Okay, there's no audio jack on the charging grip, is what I'm trying to say. I know, like, yes, there is an audio jack on the Pro Controller, but because there were back buttons on the charging grip as well as the Pro Controller, I was also under the impression that the Joy-Con charging grip also had an audio jack, but it does not. It just has the back buttons in terms of extra features compared to the base Joy-Con. Because the normal Joy-Con grip, to my knowledge, does not have back buttons, it's just the charging grip when you're comparing the Joy-Con grips to each other, which is an interesting choice. I guess they wanted to make paying for an extra controller-related product a bit more worth it, and so the Pro Controller and charging grip both have back buttons. And, you know, I think that's a good thing. Back buttons are always appreciated. And if games like Call of Duty or like just if more competitive shooters come to the Switch too, then that'll be even more handy, because that's where they're most useful, in my opinion. Actually brings up an interesting question. I wonder if they're going to make a decently running version of Apex Legends to put on the Switch too. I would assume so, but who knows. Google could have made up the conversion ratio for all you know, if you remember our actual calculated conversion ratio I came up with yesterday. Yeah, but that was on... Yeah, but like, didn't you say that that was like... for like food and stuff? Like, it... I thought you said that like the rate that Google uses is for digital assets, which is relevant in terms of comparing game prices, because that's what they end up being. That's where they end up being, like, closest. I'm getting Switch 2 later this year, or early next year. Yeah, I mean, even if you weren't just going for other stuff before, like, the Switch 2 got announced, I can definitely understand waiting, like, half a year to a year before getting a Switch 2, because if you don't like Mario Kart, and you don't like DK, which is a funny thing to say, because I feel like most Nintendo fans like Mario Kart, but, I mean, there would be people out there that aren't a fan of it. But yeah, like, if Mario Kart and Donkey Kong... If Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza don't really do it for you, then, like, you probably don't have much of a reason to get it. Me, personally, I've never played a DK game in my life, but I'm probably going to play Bonanza, because that genuinely just looks like a lot of fun. I have heard about the performance problems that people were experiencing at the Nintendo Switch 2 experiences. So, I mean, I'm not too worried, because, like, the game isn't coming out at launch, it's coming out a month after launch, so they're probably spending that time refining the experience. So it'll probably run better when it comes out. But yeah. Dude, June is gonna be a busy month for me, because, like, I'll be streaming Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4, and then I'll be streaming some Mario Kart World, and then I'll be streaming my revisit of Tears of the Kingdom as well. And then Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out a month later. Like, it's gonna be busy. It looks like I missed a few messages. Hold on. I'm saying games being sold at 1.6 times instead of 1.2 times doesn't make sense anymore. Originally, they used to be higher because it was physically harder and had less incentive to get physical media to you guys, but in the digital age, the digital games are still costing way more when there is no physical barrier. Yeah, well, I mean, if there's one thing you gotta know about capitalism, it's that if the prices go up for a certain reason, and then later on that reason goes away, why would they reduce the price if they're still making, like, if they have a thing in place that is giving them more profit, why would they change it? It's fucking profit. That's what capitalism is driven by. So, look, it sucks, but I'm not surprised that that's how it works. For me, I had a Switch and never really got into their IPs, but some of the new stuff looks fun. Yeah. I can't wait to play Mario Kart World. That looks really fucking good. Same with the Switch 2 editions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Oh my god, those look so amazing. Your statement of we play less on video games is actually based off the 1.6 times, not the 1.2 times. That's what I mean by saying the 1.6 times is arbitrary. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. But, like, in the context of, like, all digital assets, not just, like, video games, because, like, digital assets includes... Hey, Ibn. Digital assets includes, like, you know, music streaming, right? That's, like, a digital asset. So, in the context of broad digital assets, we do pay less for video games than America. It's just that when you then compare that to physical goods, it becomes a clear discrepancy, right? What explanation can you come up with for food to be sold at 1.2 times and games to be sold at 1.6 times? I don't really have an explanation besides them thinking, hey, look, we were able to get away with it before, we'll keep getting away with it if we keep doing it. I'm just waiting for news on the new COD. I will say, I am excited about the new COD because the rumors have been saying that it's going to be a remaster of Black Ops 2, and if that's the case, woo, I will buy that. I've been wanting to replay Black Ops 2 for a few years now, but I can't because I don't have the PS3 anymore. My brother has it. So, being able to play the Black Ops 2 maps again on modern hardware with, like, modern visuals would be sick. But that's just my nostalgia. That's just my nostalgia. The nostalgia part of my brain talking. Anyway, Switch 2. I got a little bit sidetracked there. Yeah, look, I acknowledge that the pricing situation really fucking sucks in America, but I'm still extremely, extremely excited about getting the Switch 2. You keep saying games are sold at a lower price in Australia, but you're using the 1.6 times to make that calculation. If you use the 1.2 times, the real conversion rate is no longer a deal on your end. Well, I guess the way I'm interpreting it is that if this thing is in place for all digital assets, I have to view it as like a separate economy, basically. Because if that's how it is for digital assets, then a distinction has to be made, right? Or am I wrong for thinking that? For the Switch 2, I'm getting it so I can go outside and play games like Minecraft and... Wait, what's sold? And other games not sold. Oh. Yeah. So, like, games that you wouldn't be able to get anywhere else. Yep, that's... I mean, you can already play Minecraft on Switch, and it's a fairly decent experience, because Minecraft is not a very intensive game, so, like, you know, it runs perfectly on the Switch. It runs at 60 FPS, that's really all you want from Minecraft. It's not separate, it still uses your dollars you got from your job. The 1.6 times makes it so that your dollars are weaker, which means it's less of a deal. Okay, I mean, you've done more research into this than I have, so I'll take your word for it. I sold my Switch 1, wish I didn't, but oh well. Conversions don't really matter. Look, I mean... Whatever the, like, true nature of that kind of stuff is, the fact of the matter is, I don't feel like the Switch... Okay, let me compare the Switch 2 prices in Australia to, like, PS5, for example. Because I know that in the US, specifically in the US, the physical version of Mario Kart World is more expensive than any PS5 game, because all PS5 games are $70 in the US, right? So they're charging Mario Kart World for $80, which is more than that. In Australia, it's a different scenario, because PlayStation 5 games range from 110 Australian dollars to 125 if the game is first party. So like Death Stranding 2, when that comes out, that retail price is going to be 125 Australian, which, using the 1.67 conversion rate, is $75 US. So already I was like, wow, we pay more for PS5 games than Americans do. And obviously this was before I knew that the conversion rate had different things going on, so I looked at it as like, oh man, damn it, we're getting the worst deal, like, just from that view. Whereas with the Switch 2 games, Cyberpunk 2077 and Mario Kart World are the only games that hit the price tag that is equivalent to what the Americans are talking about. That price tag is $120, so it's $5 cheaper than what some first-party PS5 games charge. So in my mind, like a baseline has been set, and the Nintendo games are actually under that bar, and so I think that's not actually that bad. And that's kind of what fueled the idea in my head that I pay less for games than Americans, because of the fact that a different company is actually charging more in Australia when in America they don't. So that's probably why I assumed that the price thing was different. Oh hey, Rabbit's here, hell yeah. I literally watched a video about stupidity in video game prices, and I'm just trying to tell you how Australia is getting fucked in the bum by paying 20% more on average just because of a legacy tax. Yeah, I mean, I get you. I'm just saying that I don't personally feel it because it's been there for as long as I've been alive. So, like, you know, that's just how it is. Cyberpunk comes to the Switch 2. Yes, it is. Did you not hear, Rabbit? I remember I pointed it out. Oh, wait, were you there for the... Maybe you weren't there for the direct reaction. I remember hearing Cyberpunk being brought up and being like, whoa, Cyberpunk's on the Switch too, that's insane. Back when the stream was fucking up. Also, is it just me or is this louder than usual? Let me turn this down a little bit. Oh, no, not mute it. In the UK it's $3.90 and $4.30 for Mario Kart World Bundle. Yeah, I know almost nothing about, like, pound conversions. I don't care, I knew that defense kill makes rollout more powerful. Bro, who cares if prices are different from country to country? Well, I mean, if it turns out that a game that you want is cheaper in a different country, and if you were somehow able to get, like, fairly cheap shipping, then maybe that would matter to you if you like physical games, for example. Especially because the physical versions of Mario Kart are what's actually so expensive. I'm pretty sure it's going to be $70 US digitally, so they've actually made it so that buying it digitally is more cheap, which is an interesting choice, because usually they match digital prices so you don't feel like you're being scammed, but obviously it's a different scenario here, I guess. There's also nothing you can do about it. That was announced when the stream crashed. Here, let me heal. Toffee here. I've been looking at Toffee differently. I've been looking at Toffee differently lately with the name because I started catching up on Doug videos, and he and his stream now have an obsession with a song from 2000 called Coffee, and during a part of the song they rhyme coffee with toffee, and so actually it's during the chorus. So now when I read Toffee, I think of the song Coffee. It's a banger if you haven't heard it. It's actually a very good song. And fucking Doug like bought, like, to use the song on his streams, he's actually had to, like, buy the license for it. But he has to, like, I think he has to, like, buy the license every single time he uses it. And so when his chat, like, incessantly asks him to play Coffee, he has to pay, like, $100 or something. I don't know how much he pays, but, like, he fucking pays for the license to use it on stream, like, every time. It's so funny. The chat, you could call it the chat tax. Alright, I already leveled up. I don't feel a need to heal. Oh, we're back at where we started. Okay. I pay like 60 euros. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that the euro is stronger than the Australian dollar for sure. I just don't know how much by. To me, the price doesn't matter to me for games. Yeah, well, I mean, if you're in a decent financial situation, then these price increases don't matter much to you, but for the majority of people, these price increases do matter because, you know, we're in the middle of a cost of living crisis and games are getting more expensive. Games are starting to feel more and more like a luxury instead of like a, you know, like a hobby, you know? Switch price in US dollars $449, Switch price in AUD $700. That price converted, according to Google, is $439. Using my calculator, the ratio, the 700 AUD would actually be $588, $139, which is 30% more expensive. I think that guy said he wanted to fight me or give me berries or something, but I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy looking at chat. There's some hard math. As someone who's shipped to Australia a lot, shipping a Switch 2 to Australia would cost anywhere from 100 to 150 bucks. So there's not really going to be a saving. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Shipping is very expensive, and so I wonder if that's why digital prices are so high. Like, if that's the reason for why they I mean, I know you said that like it's a legacy tax from when things were harder to get to Australia, but like it's not like shipping has gotten any cheaper, really. I feel like shipping is still very expensive between Australia and the US. I know, but like still the Aussies are getting ripped off by 30%. You say you know, but Jad was talking earlier about how if you do the math, you actually save money. Yeah, okay, I know I was wrong, okay? Back from dinner, hey Liz. We're getting into economics, which is definitely what I wanted to talk about today. I definitely didn't want to talk about how hype I am for the Switch 2. I need to do paperwork for my new job. That's totally valid. This is... Wait, I hardly buy new games if I want something I wait on discounts. Yeah, I mean, that's valid across every part of it, really. This is why PC gaming will always be the best. I mean... PC gaming does have the caveat of not having, physical versions anymore, because disk drives for PCs are just non-existent now. That's something that I don't like about PC gaming. Obviously, if that doesn't bother you, then that's all well and good, but, like, it definitely bothers me. Isn't 83 good enough? No, I'm leveling everybody up to level 84. Sorry, not 84, 88. International shipping is primo expensive. It's not gotten more expensive, though. Let's get into Freakonomics instead. I'll call Freakbomb. Woo, fuck yeah, the economy. Hi, Coden. Sorry if I scared you off by talking about money. Finally getting a job that needs my degree? Hell yeah. When the Switch 2 price announcement gets Nintendo fans to learn economics, it do be like that. Bad news about the Switch 2 price, actually. It's almost definitely going to go up if what Doug Bowser said in that interview is true. Because Doug Bowser said that the price of the Switch 2 was based off of what they thought the console was worth, separate from tariffs. So... either Nintendo is going to be eating a huge loss with these tariffs, or they're going to increase the price. I'd like to think that they have seen the backlash of the pricing and thought, okay, we should probably just eat the cost here, so that people don't get more mad at us. But... yeah. It's not looking good for the Switch 2 price tag. And also, I guess the actual, like, games, too. The games are probably going to go up in price, too. Sorry, I'm, like, trying to work my way through chat. I know that what's on the screen isn't what I'm reading. I'm still a little bit behind. Jad, I think we know your hype about the Switch 2. You've been talking about it for a week. Well, not everybody is in your server. I haven't been talking about it in my server. I've been talking about it in yours. What games do you want to see come to the Switch 2? I agree. I do hope that Activision sees that the Switch 2 is now more powerful and puts COD on there, because I think, you know, it's powerful enough now. They should do it. But in terms of, like, other games, I mean, I don't know, I guess more third-party games, because obviously I don't know what Nintendo's making, so I'll take whatever Nintendo's making, really. I'm glad that... Here's a fun fact about Legend ZA running at 60 FPS on the Switch 2. It will be the first time that a mainline Pokemon game has run at 60 FPS since Pokemon Emerald. The GBA was the last Nintendo console that was locked at 60 FPS before they went back to 30. So it took 20 years, but 60 FPS mainline Pokemon has returned. Sorry, mods. Hold on. I'm still far behind on chat. Silk Song. Chat is fast today. Who up switching they to? Oh, it's... I see. Oh my god, stop giving pop-up text. There we go. God, there's so much today. I'm so sorry. Nobody checks the news. Trump said he was dropping tariffs for most countries except China. Trump backing down on an election promise? That could never happen. If that's true, then that's good. It means that someone's finally fucking whispered in his ear, hey, what you're doing is really fucking bad for the entire world, including the US. And he went, oh, it's bad for the US? Uh-oh, I better stop what I'm doing. Assuming what you've said is true. I'm assuming that you said that because it's true, but I could be wrong. But I mean, you're also right about nobody checking the news. A lot of people who play video games don't check the news. Saw it on the news? Well, there you go, that's good. That's, hopefully that means that Nintendo can drop the pre-orders and keep the prices the same, like, right now. Or, you know, soon. I think the whole Switch pricing has really turned me off of wanting a Switch. I don't care about the console price, that's a little hefty, but I'd pay it. The games are nasty. The games never go on sale. Mario Odyssey is still full price. Well, okay, hang on, I'm gonna skip this. Gap. I don't know. I didn't watch the video that was talking about it, but there's a gaming YouTube channel I've started watching because John Cartwright is working for them, and he's a legend with an amazing voice. But they were saying in one of their videos, or at least I saw in the thumbnail of their videos, that there was a physical retailer that was selling DK Bonanza for significantly less than Nintendo's suggested retail price. Like, it was like, I can't remember what currency it was, it might have been euros, but it was like 30 euros cheaper at a certain retailer, and that was their, like, retail price, not on sale, I think. I'd have to watch the video, because I could be wrong. But it seemed like this specific retailer they were talking about was like, nah, this is too high. Nobody's going to buy this if we sell it at this rate. Let's put it lower. Let's make it more reasonable. So, I mean, I would like to think that there are some retailers in the US that won't put it at retail price. JB Hi-Fi is a good example of a retailer in Australia that doesn't do retailer price. They always make it like $5 to $10 cheaper, which is always appreciated. Which is why Mario Kart World costs 114 separately at GB as opposed to 120 at EB. But yeah, I can definitely see why you'd be turned off of buying the... I can definitely see why you'd be turned off of the Switch after this whole ordeal, because it is really shitty and definitely off-putting. The whole idea of consoles that you sell the console at a loss with the idea that it's an investment that you get money back from the customer buying games for it. So, I don't know how true this is, but I was reading people's comments talking about economics, and they were saying that PlayStation and Xbox are the ones who are like loss leaders with their console prices, and apparently Nintendo does not sell their consoles at as much of a loss compared to PlayStation and Xbox. So, you would think in that case, if that's true, that they'd be selling their game prices at a little lower because they're not losing as much on the console itself. But that doesn't seem to be the case this time. I think this is just a case of success Nintendo going, oh, we can charge this much and get away with it in the US, which is really shitty. I forgot to buy healing items. I should probably go change that real quick. I get games at full prices for indie devs. I get non-indie games at 40% off or more. That's very valid, because when you're buying an indie game, you want that money. Like, I'm the same. Like, if I see an indie game, I will buy it at full price because it's you know, that money is going to the developer, or at least to the publisher that is allowing the indie developer to get the game out, and that's just as important in my opinion. But yeah, like, I'm definitely more willing to pay full price for indie games than I am for first party and third party major titles. Because if anybody needs that money, it's them. And I'm fortunate enough to be in a situation where I can actually afford to do that. I didn't heal, that was a bit silly, I should do that before I leave. And then yeah, auto mod. I'll probably skip this console until Trump and Elon are in the ground, so that's why you apologized. Yeah, I added Trump as like a cautionary word just because of the election. I think I should probably remove that now. I was doing that like back when the election was very volatile, but I mean it's still politics in the US is still very volatile, but like that was why I had it. Not because of in the ground, no, specifically because of Trump, because that's a word that I've put in. Sorry about that. 20 years later, Pokemon got 60 FPS. Yeah, I don't know why the fuck it took them so long, but they're finally caught up. Wait, the GBA ran at 60 FPS. Apparently. That's what they were saying. They were saying that the last time a game ran at 60 FPS was Emerald, so I guess the GBA could run at 60 FPS. Though if I had to guess, that's probably just in America. I think that was back when there was the whole NTSC versus PAL, where NTSC ran faster and PAL ran slower. So it could just be an American thing. I think in PAL regions, the GBA was at 30 FPS or whatever the frame rate standard then was. A sex bot? No, it was a promo bot. Actually, I don't remember anymore. I didn't read the message. I just saw likely ban evasion and cheap viewers, and I was like, yep, ban. The Senate looks to be blocking Trump's billionaire tax cuts, so if that happens, then Trump will have done zero of his campaign promises. Well, some of his campaign promises he put through with executive orders, so unfortunately, those can't be reversed until Trump gets out of office. But yeah, I mean, who's surprised that it, like, not even just, like, Trump, but, like, politicians in general. There are so many politicians who don't hold their election promises. It's, at that point, it shouldn't even be a surprise. He doesn't care if it's bad for the US. His plan is to tank the economy. He wants people to riot so he can declare martial law. Yeah, but, like, declaring martial law in the US is hard when you've got fucking... Like, everybody has the right to bear arms. So how the hell are you going to declare martial law in the US? Everybody has guns. They're just going to fucking, like, lock down their homes and like, shoot anybody that tries to get in. So, I mean, look, I don't know entirely how martial law works. I know it was declared in South Korea fairly recently. But I feel like declaring martial law in the US would be particularly difficult when everybody has guns. Not everybody, but, like, you know, it is a right for people to have guns. I saw it from the news tab on Reddit because I am a gamer like that. That's so awesome. JB can... Okay, guys, I need to highlight this. I don't think Ibn knows what JB is, but Ibn heard what I said about JB selling at lower than retail prices and said, and I quote, "JB can huff farts out of my jorts." I was thinking EB, I misheard. Oh! I see. That makes a bit more sense. Because EB sells at retail. Yes, yes, okay. Yes, you meant to say EB. Gotcha. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. The PlayStation 2 is the most notorious example of this, the console being sold for, I think it was over 2.5 times the actual value to get people to buy it for all its features, and then eventually picking up a game or two, which would be enough to break even and then some. I mean, whatever the price was in Australia, we definitely bought it for that, because we bought the PS2 because it was a DVD player, and then bought... It came with Kingdom Hearts, I think. And the rest is history. I fucking love Kingdom Hearts. And then we also got like Sly and Jak and Daxter. Those are good games. I still haven't caught up with chat. Okay, I need to just stop playing for a second and catch up. With the AAA game prices soaring like they are, I predict another huge indie boom in the near future. Yeah, well, I mean... It's easy to predict an indie boom when AAA games are taking so long to make, right? Like, the bubble needs to burst, and people need to... The people who are like, oh, gaming is so stagnant and boring nowadays, while they play the exact same games every year, they need to realize that there is a whole fucking world of video games out there that they can play through indie games, but they just think small equals bad for some dumb fucking reason. It's pretty much the opposite. Smaller means better, usually. I think Steam has spoiled us on game prices. Yeah, I mean, Steam does do very frequent sales, but so does PlayStation. They do, like, seasonal sales as well. I'm watching this stream while playing my favorite game, Minecraft. Good for you, that's awesome. Game sale prices were exclusively a Nintendo thing before Steam? Oh, really? It wasn't really a sale, it was a reward for games reaching a sales target. That actually makes a lot of sense. Like, oh, good job, you hit the target that we set for you, now we can put it on sale to try and get even more people in after hitting the sales target. That makes sense. Executive orders like El Salvador and death camps. I wish I said that surprised me, but it doesn't. He would want to crash the economy to buy stuff for cheap. Oh, of course. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's like what fucking Sosajima does in either Somnium Files. He, like, sold a bunch of land he had. I mean, these are slight spoilers for either Somnium Files, but I feel like it's not really that bad. This guy, this wealthy politician, has a bunch of land near a, like, theme park, and then he sells it for, like, 1 billion yen, and then a mysterious accident happens at a factory that pollutes the entire fucking land area, and makes it uninhabitable, and then he buys it back for half the price he sold it for. So, he now has the land, plus 500 million yen. And it was like, oh yeah, that's not sus at all. Most of his executive orders were blocked. Fun fact. Oh, really? He can make as many orders as he wants, the government just doesn't have to listen. That's cool. US gun ownership is a Spider's George situation? Nearly everyone who owns a gun is a Spider's George who owns 500 guns. I don't know what a Spider's George is. There's an executive order starting April 20th that martial law can be declared for a protest? Surely that can be blocked too, right? If the other ones can be blocked, right? Actually, no, JB managers were mean to Sylvie when she worked there. Oh, that's a bummer. I have a friend online who works at JB, who's been working at JB for like the last 20 years, and he's had a much nicer time there, so I'm really, it sucks that Sylvie put up with shit there. Hopefully that's just I would like to think that's just like a problem with the specific store, not the chain. Managers tend to suck. Lower prices on Steam afford you accessibility. Gabe Newell said piracy is a service issue. He would say that. Gabe's pretty based. Before Steam and other digital storefronts, games pretty much never went on sale. Nintendo no longer puts games on sale since they haven't put out a stinker game since the Wii U. I mean, ARMS wasn't very popular. I don't think ARMS met a sales target, if I'm going to be honest with you. The worst they've done on Switch was mid, and again, Nintendo makes good games. How much more grinding do I have to do? Everybody is 83 or 84 at the moment, so we're getting there. I should probably start grinding again now that I've gotten through most of chat. The way we're acting now is that the idea that in the 90s paying $60 for Donkey Kong Country is absurd, but like accounting for inflation. Yeah, so here's the fun thing. Some people have like brought up games magazines from like the 90s, and there were games going for like $100 US back then. Games used to be so expensive. I'm not, and I'm in no way trying to say that games aren't expensive, because they are. Especially in the middle of a cost of living crisis, but like, games used to be so much more expensive because the technology was more new then, and so it wasn't as ridiculously expensive. Like, they were ridiculously expensive then because of the fact that it was a new technology and it wasn't like, advancements hadn't been made to make it more affordable at that point. It was just crazy to see. And then my friend who works at a JB, he sent me a catalogue for Australian games from like the 90s, and yeah, like there was a game that was going for 150 Australian, which nowadays would be like 200. I'm like, that's fucking insane. I can't believe that I've been so lucky to live in an era where game prices have only like fairly recently started going over 100 Australian. It's kind of insane how bad it used to be. Generally the issue is the game is not available at all. Generally, if I can buy a new copy of a game for a reasonable price, I will buy it. It's when games are exclusively used that piracy becomes a thing. Yeah, that's understandable. Like, if you want to buy... Because I remember you saying that, like, if you wanted to play Rido before the remaster got announced, you had to pay $200 for a copy. That's insane. Like, that's completely unreasonable. I am... You know, I can completely understand why you would resort to piracy in that situation, because why the fuck would you spend $200 on an old game just because it's not available? So yeah, that's very valid. Oh, it's pronounced Georg? My bad. Spider Georg is a meme about an outlier, the original being that the average person in fact does not eat one spider a night, and that it's Spider Georg eating... What is that, like 10 billion, 100 billion spiders each night, throwing off the average? Yeah, it's not actually a myth, it's just that one person eats spiders for a living. If the military listens to his order on 420, then yes, martial law can be declared. Well, I fucking... Oh no, hang on. Doesn't the fucking president have, like... Isn't the president, like, the guy that issues the order to the military? Fuck, that sucks. I'm not saying that game sales are bad, but we act so spoiled about them, and as one of the few things people will buy used, it's no wonder publishers want to eliminate the used market through majority digital games. Which is interesting, then, that Nintendo has decided to do the game key cards. And, look... I understand that game key cards still suck because they're not on the cartridge. You still have to download them. But the fact that they have basically tried to make a better alternative to digital physical games by making it so that the cartridge has a license on it, which means you can actually resell it and give it to people to use to play the game. That's a pretty substantial improvement, in my opinion. It means that you can still give the game card to a friend and they can still get the license for the game. Like, obviously, you know, they still have to hold onto the cartridge to play the game. That's, you know, that's still a thing. But, like, it's a better alternative to what was being given, which was, oh, here's a code in the box. You know, like, and at least with the game keycard, it's still, you can still resell it, and you can still like, it's... Again, it's not perfect, but it is an improvement. So, look, people have been complaining about it. I see where the complaints are coming from, because they're still not on the cartridge, but it is a better alternative to just not even trying to, like, attach the license to the cartridge. Earthbound was 120 in the US. That's crazy. What the fuck, man? My wages haven't increased. I don't care how much games used to be or how much they'd be adjusted for inflation. They have never been $90 for me. That's right. And that's where people, you know, that's what people forget when they show off, like, oh, look at how expensive games used to be. Back then, wages were still going up in the US. Wages haven't gone up in, like, what, 20, 25 years in the US? So when things get more expensive nowadays, it is much more impactful, because you now just have to actually earn more money. You have to work harder. You have to work more hours to get the same thing. Wages aren't, like, it's not just the fact that wages aren't keeping up with inflation, they're just not going up at all. That's why it's a problem. That's another thing that I take for granted living in Australia, because our wages, while maybe they haven't been going up at a fast enough rate to keep up with inflation, our wages have gone up every year. Like, my wage now is more than it was last year and the year before. Like, my wage has gone up. So I'm in nowhere near as bad of a financial situation as the average American, because my wages have actually gone up over time. It's almost as if the government recognizes that to deal with the cost of living crisis, you need to increase the minimum wage. Isn't that an insane concept? From 1980 to 2000, the federal minimum wage doubled, but it hasn't changed since 2007, which is... It's like they didn't increase the minimum wage during the global financial crisis and then went, oh, we don't need to do it anymore for some fucking reason. That's just insane. The idea of the minimum wage not going up in 18 years is insane. And yeah, like 7.25, I remember hearing that figure when I was a kid. The fact that it is still that is just bonkers. What a terrible situation. I paid $200 for the collector's edition. Since 2009. Okay, yeah, but that's still, like, global financial crisis times, basically, so... I didn't have any expenses at the time. Yeah, it's a different thing when, like, you're younger and you don't have any expenses. I don't remember what Ibn's comment about the executive branch. I don't remember what that was in relation to, because it's been a while since It's been a while since that chat message got sent and I didn't read it. Their oath is to the Constitution, not the President? Okay. I thought I read somewhere that, like, the military directly answers to the President or something. I'm glad that that's wrong, then. They don't have to, but they're inclined to. It's not as bad as it could be. I think you said that in reference to the game keycards. With gaming, so many people have such a frugal mindset to the point where they refuse to buy any game for anything under 50 to 90% off. I legit see people complaining Steam no longer allows 99% sales to let games be 1 cent. You know, the thing only indie publishers did on Christmas Day exclusively. And also what shovelware developers do on the Switch eShop. If there's a game that's #1 on the sales chart and it isn't a Nintendo game, or like a popular game that just came out, you can almost guarantee that it's a shovelware game that was discounted by 99%. It's like the shovelware situation on the Switch eShop is horrendous. That needs to be rectified for the Switch too. Earthbound was 8,000 yen, but in the US you were forced into the collector's edition. Wow, that's a very interesting decision. Very interesting decision. Wages have gone up just slower than inflation, while productivity has gone up over 300%. Wait, really? Wages have gone up? I'm not a capitalism apologist. When I release my game, my intent is for it to be free shareware and maybe get a Steam page if I have $100 to drop. That's pretty goated. That's very based. Nobody pays that. It's basically impossible to get paid that as a US citizen. Nationwide, minimum wage hasn't increased, but statewide it's gone up. Oh, that's true, yeah. Because it's the case that, like, if your state wage is higher than the minimum wage, then the state wage is the minimum wage, right? For the state. I know that, like, there are some states that put their minimum wage below the minimum wage so that the federal minimum wage kicks in, right? Or am I wrong? I feel like that's a thing that some states do. Used to. Okay, I'm glad that's no longer a thing, because that was fucking insane. Even in states where the minimum wage is federal, many companies just pay the minimum wage of the highest minimum wage state to reduce headache. That's very valid. In the US, the average wage has gone up. You get paid whatever's more. Maybe for tipped employees. The fact that there are fucking jobs in America that are just like, yeah, part of your wage is tips, is fucking insane to me, because that is just, to my knowledge, that is not a thing in Australia. I'm pretty sure it's not a thing in Australia. Typically, they have no minimum wage laws. Okay. Tipped minimum wage is like $3. What the hell? That's just cruel. There's a separate minimum wage for tipped employees. You can make bank with it. Okay, but like, the average person isn't going to make bank on a tipped wage, is the thing. Did you know that tipping is frowned upon in certain places in the world? I have heard that, actually. Look, I haven't actually been in a situation where I've seen people tipping at like restaurants and stuff. I don't think it's very standard in Australia. It's probably only standard in America because that's literally how some people make their money. When I visited Australia, eating at restaurants was like 40% cheaper because we didn't have to tip. That's insane. I had an amazing job that paid me above minimum wage plus tips. I was paid like 16 an hour, but with tips it was often 18 plus an hour. That's very nice. If you're getting federal minimum wage plus tips, that's a pretty decent gig. Generally, everywhere I've looked at, the only places you get paid tip wages now are bars, fancy restaurants, and clubs, and the people who work there make so much. Yeah, that makes sense for a very high-class establishment that has a lot of clients, I guess. To go on a tips-based wage, because people have a shit ton of money at those like restaurants, but it's still just weird to me. Tipping shouldn't be forced. You should want a tip because you got good service. That's exactly what I was thinking. I thought tipping was like optional. I was trying to find a specific word there, but I couldn't find it. That's just insane to me to think about. Not saying bad tip wages in places no longer exist. Yeah, they would. But they are so much rarer. As an American, almost everything in Australia was significantly cheaper. Not just the exchange rate, but also tipping is not required. Yeah, tipping being required is an absolutely wild concept to me. That's how America is moving now. A lot of CEOs get all up in arms how paying minimum wage for servers instead of low plus tips would raise prices of food too much. Someone calculated it, and the average CEO would only have to give up 5% of their profits to pay a living wage. Oh, man. The poor CEOs sacrificing 5% of their wage in order to give people a decent living. Boo-hoo. No fucking wonder Luigi murdered that guy. Look, I'm not trying to condone murder, but like, I feel like that was something that needed to happen. Of profits, not even taking a loss. To be fair, small businesses, the majority of which are restaurants which use tip wages, have an average overall profit margin of 3%. A majority of these businesses fail. Huh, okay. Girl, don't say that he didn't kill that man. Huh. Look, I haven't really been reading... I didn't read a lot of the news about Luigi Mangione, so my information is probably out of date or false. I'm just saying what I saw. Wait, why did I do that? He still has, like... Sorry, she still has a little bit of XP to earn. It's very sketch, but I can believe he did it. So wait, it's not like... It's not actually confirmed? I'm so confused. So, like, how's your week, Jad? My week has been good, because I've been hyped about the Switch 2. I've been, like, poring over, like, gameplay comparisons and stuff. I sent a screenshot of, Tears of the Kingdom to Charlie last night, showing off that, like, the HDR makes such a huge difference in the depths, because it actually looks dark. Which is, like... The depths felt dark to me when I was playing Tears of the Kingdom, but now I compare them side by side and I'm like, oh yeah, what the hell, this is a huge difference. Not confirmed until he's convicted in a court of law. He's still being tried. The only known photos of the alleged killer don't look like him. There's never been fingerprints taken, no DNA taken. They are pushing for death penalty. Yeah, that doesn't really shock me. America's pretty corrupt. I mean, we all saw it with George Floyd. It may not be racially motivated, but it is, in essence, the same thing. It's corruption. Excited for Silksong? Oh yeah, I mean, that game's been waited for how fucking long at this point? The fact that we finally got like, oh hey, it's coming out this year, also here's 5 seconds of gameplay is huge. I'm also not talking restaurants, I'm talking about Walmarts could pay $13 an hour and Sam Walton, the Walmart founder, would only lose about 3 to 7% of profits. The numbers are roughly the same across the board, be it Walmart, McDonald's, Amazon, so on. You think Jeff Bezos would take a pay cut of any kind if it meant his profit margins going down? Hell, any CEO. Like, if you're a CEO, these CEOs, when they see any kind of dip in profit, they're like, they go into panic mode. Xbox was the perfect example of this. They cut companies because their profit margins went down, not because they were actually losing money. They're so stupid. My plan is to hopefully make the Switch 2 my main gaming platform. I mean, it now has the power to actually be that, so that's really, really good. That's one of the exciting things about the Switch 2. Like, this is like the first time in ages that Nintendo has caught up hardware-wise to what's currently on offer at the moment, basically. Not just talking about restaurants. Gotcha. They want the public to be happy he killed him equals guilty before proven. But that isn't how it works in a court of law. It's innocent until proven guilty. Unless they, you know, bend it, which, fucking, knowing these people, they probably will. 6 years? I hope Charlie can move in with me so I don't have to give her the Switch 2 and we can share it. Yeah, that'd be ideal. Saving money wherever you can. 6 years since Silksong. That's insane. Like, I don't mean to put, like, pressure on the developers, but holy fuck, that game needs to be peaked to meet the hype. It's insane. Rena wants to battle me. I don't even remember who she is. There's been more news. It's going to be at a game showcase in September, which does not ever showcase unreleased games, meaning it has to come out in or before September. Wow, that's huge. You know what's been waiting longer than Hollow Knight fans? Air Ride fans. You are so right. The guy even said, Kirby Air Ride, which originally released for the GameCube more than 20 years ago, is now getting a sequel. That's wild. I'm so happy for you, Kirb. For Silk Song likers, was that even new footage? Probably not. They were probably just more shocked at the fact that like it was being shown during a sizzle reel and that it had a release year. I thought that game did poorly. I screamed so loud my roommate came to check on me. I was so happy. It was new footage? Okay, that's good. It's because shareholders can fire CEOs if you are publicly traded. Imagine being publicly traded. Sounds like a skill issue. All shareholders care about is line go up fast so they can sell. That's very true. Fucking Cyberpunk was the first instance of me really realizing how shitty shareholders are. The whole reason Cyberpunk came out in the state that it did was because the shareholders forced CD Projekt Red to release it unfinished. They said, release the game or we sell our shares, and then they ended up selling their shares anyway because the game fucking did poorly at launch. Profit growth is logarithmic. Do you mean logarithmic? Or is logarithmic actually a word? But CEOs and shareholders expect it to be exponential. Exactly. I legit don't think Silk Song is real. Well, apparently it is. It will be peak. 6 years is nothing, try 20. Yep. Silking my song. Oh, Charlie's lurking. I see. Hope she has fun whatever she's doing. I'm leaving to get food. Good luck on Red if you beat him before I get back. Thanks, Kerb. Appreciate it. Like at a room party or BRB. I'm not quite sure what you mean there, Ibn. As overwhelming as it is that chat has been as active as it has been today, I am happy because if there's a moment where I want a bunch of people to be watching, it's when I'm about to finish the SoulSilver Nuzlocke, because that's huge. Johto Nuzlockes are infamous for being very difficult, so I'm really glad that this has been what it has been, and that I've been able to, at the very least, get to Red. I won't be too bummed out if I lose to Red, because, look, I'm just gonna be real with you guys, I don't think I'm going to lose to Red. I've done a lot of damage calculations, and I think, even in completely, like just in circumstances where absolutely everything goes wrong, I don't think there's a chance that I can lose, but I'm just also thinking in the back of my head, like, what happens if I lose, you know? If I do somehow, by some, like, work of God, end up being the loser in this fight, I won't be that bummed, because, like, you know, this is a hard battle to do in a Nuzlocke. And, in case you guys haven't heard me say it before, if I lose to Red here, I'm not continuing. That's the end of the Nuzlocke. Like, whatever the end of this, regardless of how this battle plays out, I am not continuing the Nuzlocke, because the amount of training that would be necessary to get another team back up to the right level to fight Red is just not worth it. Also, this team is surprisingly well built for Red. Like, Freddy Fazbear doesn't really have a Pokemon that he's good against, but, like, there are Pokemon on this team that are going to be very, very good at dealing with certain Pokemon. And by that, I mean mostly Electro. I hope I see Red get defeated. Me too. I hope I defeat Red as well. Speaking of the Switch 2, by the way, I think one thing that people didn't really talk about, was, like, load times. The load times have been, for some games, really, really well improved. Like, the Switch 2 version of Breath of the Wild loads in, like, 2 to 3 seconds, as opposed to, like, 6 to 7, or, like, 5 to 6. And then with Tears of the Kingdom, it loads, like, 4 seconds faster on average than the Switch 1 version, which is, like, sure, it's no SSD speeds, but it's such an improvement, and you're really gonna notice that the more you fast travel in those kinds of games. Which is amazing. Like, I'm so glad that, like, it's not just performance and resolution improvements, it's also load times being improved. I will say it's funny, though, that the footage I was watching was comparing load times between, like, Kirby and, there's, like, almost no difference, because apparently Kirby still already loads really quickly on the Switch 1. So, like, there was a specific transition where it was, like, 0.8 seconds was the difference. It's, like, not even something that you should really be advertising as, like, a revolutionary thing, because, like, wow, I can't believe it's loading 0.8 seconds faster. This is revolutionary. But, you know, they were performance improvements. That would, like, they are load improvements, I mean. Also, something that was interesting in that video that I watched was that it's not necessarily just the Switch 2 editions that are getting load improvements. There are some Switch 1 games that are just going to load faster naturally, which is really, really good. The example that they showed was, oh, he finally has a Noctowl, good for him. They were showing off Yoshi's Crafted World, which, to our knowledge, does not have a Switch 2 edition or an upgrade. A Switch 2 upgrade or, like, an update or anything, and yet it loaded twice as fast on the Switch 2. Like, instead of taking 8 seconds, it took 4 seconds, which is pretty substantial for a game that's not even getting an update. Like, that's actually pretty damn good. Pokemon Violet is getting a Switch 2 update. I know, I'm so excited, because both games need performance improvements. Violet more so, because Violet has the whole thing of, like, oh, the game drops to 15 frames per second when you're riding Miraidon because of the effects coming out of the boosters. So, yeah, I mean, even if it's literally just 1080p 60, like, not that much of a resolution buff, but, like, the game runs consistently at 60 FPS, oh my god, that would just be so fucking good. That game desperately needs an upgrade. And so the fact that they're doing a free update, and, like, the thing is, I don't think it's gonna be, like, a trick where, like, oh, instead of adding performance and resolution enhancements, we're just adding game share. I don't think they're adding game share. I don't think game share would work on Pokemon, because then they'd have to, like, devise a system where when you're game sharing with a friend and you're doing a union circle, you have to have, like, a default avatar. But then, like, there's the thing of, like, your default avatar either has to be male or female. It can't just be, like, a true default. And obviously they don't want people to have, like, the wrong avatar for, like, who they are. They don't want to have, like, the female avatar when they're a guy, or a male avatar when they're a female, that kind of thing. So I don't think game share is going to be implemented into Scarlet and Violet. I think it's literally just going to be performance improvements. Which is all it needs. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. That's all it needs. It just needs to look and run better, and we'll be fine. So, yeah. I'm very, very glad that Scarlet and Violet are getting updates for Switch 2. I'm just gonna skip this because it gets a little bit repetitive. Oh, speaking of Scarlet and Violet, one of, if not the best town themes, or city themes, I guess I should say. I'm just waiting until I can get the Switch 2. Yeah, because you've got other stuff to get first. But that is one of the first things I'll be doing when I get my Switch 2. I'll be running Scarlet and Violet with the new update on the Switch 2 to see just how much better it runs. Also, I'm really excited about the screen. I remember thinking like, oh, that's kind of a bummer that it's an LCD. But LCD technology has come a long way since the Switch 1, to the point that the people who are playing were playing in handheld mode at the experience events, and owned OLEDs, obviously not having them side by side, but like from their own personal experience, they genuinely could not tell the difference because the HDR and the better LCD just makes it look really, really good. I'm really excited about that. Like, I might not actually, I genuinely might not get the OLED model this time when an eventual OLED Switch 2 comes out, because I just think the screen is going to be more than good enough for playing in handheld. Because even in like, you know, people had to obviously take videos with like cameras and make sure they were in the footage to, you know, like fit Nintendo standards. But even just through those videos, the screen looked amazing without like having the best, like, because, you know, cameras capturing screens can sometimes have difficulty. Had no difficulty with the Switch 2 screen, and it looked incredible on video. So I can't wait to see it in person. It's going to be even better. And everybody's talked about how, like, the overall build quality feels substantially improved, that when the Switch 2 Joy-Cons are like, magnetically attached, it feels more like a traditional PC handheld than the Switch, where, like, the Joy-Cons feel different compared to the device, and they feel separated, and they jiggle a lot. There's none of that with the Switch 2, which is so awesome to hear. It's going to feel so much more substantial in your hands. That's... like, I play my Switch, like, 90% of the time in docked mode, but with the Switch 2, I think I'm definitely going to be playing it more in handheld again, because it'll just be such a substantial improvement. Do we know if there's Joy-Con drift? So they have confirmed there's no Hall effect sticks, which means they're probably similar sticks that were in the Switch 1, but I would like to think that because they've built these new Joy-Cons from the ground up, that they've implemented some kind of measure to make stick drift less likely to happen. I think stick drift is absolutely going to happen, it's just a matter of how quickly. I hope it takes a long time for it to happen. Because, I mean, they went to court over the stick drift. There's no way they wouldn't have done something about it. That would have been a headache for them. They've been like, oh man, alright, next time let's make sure we do this properly, you know? If they drift really easily, I'll be shocked, because that's just more headaches for Nintendo. Yeah, don't worry, everybody hates stick drift. It's not helpful in any circumstance. Why do you keep missing? Come on, Freddy Fazbear. You're supposed to be a good rock climber. But yes, I'm very, very excited about the Switch 2. I want to actually, like, bring up the screenshot I took of, I want to bring up the screenshot I took of the depths looking so much darker in the Switch 2 edition compared to Switch 1, because it is like night and day. The HDR does so much hard carrying in terms of making the games look better. HDR is just an amazing thing that you'll really take for granted once you get used to it, because it's so nice. And thankfully my monitor has HDR, so I'll be able to see HDR on games like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom when I play it on my monitor, so that's going to be awesome. Very much looking forward to that. Pretty much the game I am getting is the new Donkey Kong, Tomodachi Life, and Yakuza 0 and Gen 10 Pokemon. It's very valid, especially because it looks like Yakuza 0 Director's Cut is only going to be on the Switch 2. I thought for sure they were also going to port that to like PS5 and Xbox Series X, but apparently Director's Cut is only coming out on the Switch 2, which is... Well, okay, I think it's a timed exclusive. I think it's going to be on the Switch 2 only for a little bit and then come to other devices. But with how well the Switch 2 performs, you'd almost just want to get it on Switch 2 anyway, because, like, it's gonna run at 60 FPS, which is what it will do on like PS5 and Xbox as well, and it'll also be handheld, so like you'd almost be more inclined to get the Switch 2 version as opposed to like a PS5 version, just because of how, like, the fact that the Switch 2 has caught up to the PS5 so well for certain games. Like, it's actually pretty amazing. I might actually see myself buying more Switch 2 versions of games that are also on PS5 for convenience sake. Because the gameplay, the cutscenes still run at 30 FPS, which makes sense because I'm assuming they're video files. But the gameplay runs at 60 FPS, which is fantastic, because Yakuza 0 not running at 60 FPS kind of sucks. I'm glad that that is changing. Obviously it runs at 60 FPS if you play the PC version, but like, you know, the console version specifically. It's just so funny that, like, we're basically getting a Yakuza 0 remaster. Like, it makes sense. Yakuza 0 is a very popular game, so it makes sense that they'd then, like, make a better version of it later. It's just kind of funny to think about. Yakuza 0 got a remaster before Yakuza 3 got a remake. That, I think, is quite amusing. Especially when I think Yakuza 3 deserves a remake. It's aged fairly poorly compared to the other games. Like, Yakuza 1 and 2 were very obvious remakes because they were on the PS2. Yakuza 3 was the first game to be on the PS3. And while you would think that, like, oh, you know, it makes sense that they just remastered it because it was a PS3 game. But, like, there are gameplay elements that need fine-tuning because it was their first time on the PS3, and so they were experimenting a little bit more with the gameplay, and from what I've heard, the gameplay experience on Yakuza 3 can be a bit annoying because of what they were trying to, like, experiment with, that they eventually refined with later entries. So, a remake that fixes those... Yakuza 3 in Dragon Engine sounds like a very good thing, right? Because Yakuza 3 was back on the old engine, whatever they were using before then. Because Dragon Engine wasn't a thing until, like, Kiwami 2 and 6. So, yeah, I'd love to see Yakuza 3 in the Dragon Engine with the current gameplay refinements that we're used to. I think that'd be great. Level 85. We're getting close, chat. We're getting so close. Yakuza 3 Director's Cut. I don't think there's, like, cutscenes that they're going to add. Although I don't actually know. I don't know how much content has been cut from previous entries that they could then re-add in a Director's Cut. Because I didn't even know there were cutscenes from 0. But apparently there's like 26 minutes of them. Every Yakuza and Judgment game get a director's cut for no reason. It's just the new terminology they use for a remaster. I really hope they bring the rest... I'm assuming this is what they're doing, but I really hope they bring the rest of the series to the Switch 2. Because the Switch 2 is more than powerful enough to run them now. So, that'd be great. And apparently Kiwami sold much better than Yokoyama was expecting. So Kiwami was a good success on the Switch one. So yeah, I'm very excited for Yakuza's prospects to come to, for the entire series to come to the Switch too. It's definitely possible. They just need to actually port them. And I mean, it looks like the demand is there, so it's an exciting time if you're a Nintendo fan who has wanted to play Yakuza but haven't, either because you don't have a decent PC or you don't have another console. That's an exciting time, because Yakuza is a fantastic series. Everybody should experience Yakuza at least once, in my opinion. Also, why is this song so much more quiet compared to the rest of them? That's so weird. Can't wait until Fortnite Yakuza. Yeah, when is that happening? Because we assumed it was happening when Pirate Yakuza came out to, like, tie in, but it never happened. We know that they're happening because, like, the leakers have said, yep, it's a thing, but we haven't heard anything else. That's the only thing that's going to bring me back to Fortnite at this point, because I've stopped playing Fortnite now. If they bring Yakuza characters into Fortnite, I will absolutely play it. Even though it's such a big fucking reinstall, I might do it. I have a theory, due to when Among Us collabs ends some point after June, that makes sense that they would wait until after a current collaboration has ended. We've already seen the renders leaked. I haven't seen the renders yet. I should look those up. So that means we know which characters are going to be in it as well, because I didn't actually know which characters were going to be in it. Wade wants to give me berries. They're from the beginning of the season, I'll send them to you. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Very cool. Love Professor Sycamore's theme. I don't know if I've actually said this, but I'm a huge sucker for, like, the accordion. I think the accordion is a fantastic instrument. Man, it's still not a one-shot. That's insane. That's a 90 power move. Not just renders. Sorry, not renders, just an image someone made. Ah, bummer. We're getting Kiryu and Majima. Is it just them? I was kind of hoping for Ichiban. Because his whole thing is, I like video... Well, not his whole thing, but he loves video games. So it would have been a very funny inclusion to have Ichiban, because he loves video games. Now he's in 2. That's all we knew in January. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Kiryu and Majima, that's, like... You kind of, like, assume that they're going to be at least 2 of them. I was kind of hoping for Ichiban as well, though. I hope Ichiban is there, because Ichiban is just as much a face of the franchise as Kiryu and Majima, because... he is the main character going forward, even though Kiryu was in the most recent one. Whatever the next mainline Yakuza game is going to be, Ichiban will be the main character again. He is the new main character. I think Ichiban is coming, that's why it hasn't dropped. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know nothing about the collaborations, I just know that they're apparently happening now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long this collaboration has been in the works for, so could be a lot longer than we thought, or it could be even shorter. I think it's probably more so a scheduling thing, because, like, Cyberpunk was supposed to be added to the game back in Chapter 4 Season 2, because the Smart Pistol is very, very similar to a Cyberpunk pistol. They didn't end up coming out until Chapter 6 Season 1, so, like, obviously there's, like, a big backlog of scheduling when it comes to third-party editions, because Fortnite is so popular. So it wouldn't surprise me if, like, oh, the Yakuza collaborations have now been confirmed, but, like, you know, it's gonna take us maybe even a year to actually see it in the game. Oops, I accidentally opened the National Pokedex, so I didn't see Lyra's call. That's funny. Level 86. I know I've said this before, but once again, you can criticize Team Galactic for their hairstyles, but their taste in music is immaculate. Do we think there's another Yakuza game this year? No, absolutely not. The fact that we got a Yakuza game this year is a miracle, frankly. I think we might... I don't think we'll even see a Yakuza game next year. I think we'll have to wait until 2027 for the next Yakuza. And it could be another holdover title before the main entry, because remember, there was 4 years... Sorry. No, yeah, sorry. 4 years between Like a Dragon and Infinite Wealth, which Infinite Wealth is the direct follow-up. So, depending on whether they're making a new map for the game or not, I would assume they're making a new map for the game. It could take 4 years for them to make it. So, you know, we could be waiting a while. We could be waiting until 2028 to see the next mainline Yakuza game that advances the story. Yeah, I really want a Judgment 3 as well, but it looks like either the company that represents Yagami is being a pain in the ass, or Sega doesn't know what to do with a Judgment 3. As much as I want to see it. Though I guess if they were planning a Judgment 3, that would line up pretty well with holding us over until the next Yakuza game, the next Like a Dragon game. That would be nice. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but that would be very cool. Also, RGG has their hands full with the new Virtua Fighter as well as Project Century, so it could just be that, like, yeah, we might not even get a new Yakuza game for like 5 years. Because they're working on those other projects. I kind of want a small game with Kaito before Judgment 3. I mean, we got Kaito files. That's, you know... I know you're asking for more Kaito, but, like... That was a pretty chunky DLC. All things considered. Oops, I didn't mean to use that. Oh yeah, I forgot about the abrupt ending, because these are not ideal music tracks. And we just went from Team Galactic to Cyrus, how appropriate. Okay, now we'll have Kiryu train. At least I have time to complete all the Yakuza games before Like a Dragon 9 Ichiban is the imposter drops. Ichiban is not the imposter. Imagine if the plot... I will say though, it'd be funny if the plot of the next game was someone is going around impersonating Ichiban. Though that sounds more like a sub-story than it does a main story. What are you doing? Give me Pokemon. Thank you. God, I hate how slowly Breloom levels up. Oops, I didn't mean to use Seed Bomb there. That's a waste of a move that I could be using on Golduck instead. And Quagsire. There'll be a funny side story for Ichiban, but if it was main story, people would get mad. Yeah, probably. It would feel like a little bit of a cop-out. Unless there was like some really like insane twist to it that actually made it interesting, but yeah, it wouldn't happen. That'd be a sub-story. I wonder why they made Shroomish and Breloom have such a low EXP growth rate. It's not like it's particularly OP. I hope we see a shiny Pokemon. The last time you said that it did happen, so it would be pretty cool. Maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't. The fact that we've gotten 2 during this Nuzlocke is already pretty crazy in of itself. I'm pretty sure that's very low chances of happening, getting 2 shinies across this period of time. So, well, I say getting, but really I mean seeing 2 shinies, because I wasn't able to catch that Raticate because of a certain Pokemon. Anyway. Don't you know, I don't hold grudges. Wonder why my chat window looks weird at the bottom there. That's weird. I'm just waiting now for Summer Games Fest and that stuff, and that kind of stuff, to see what other games are coming this year. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what is coming out this year that we haven't seen yet. Because I assume there's more, as is usually the case. But yeah, so far, because of the looming threat of GTA 6, a lot of games have been front-loaded. So, this year has been front-loaded, sorry. So, like, a lot of the big hitters that aren't GTA 6 are coming out this year, but then there's also stuff like Borderlands 4 and, like, Metal Gear Solid Delta, which are, like, kind of playing with fire by releasing so close to what is probably going to be GTA 6's release date. Because the Take-Two CEO has been talking a lot about GTA 6 lately. So far, the last thing we heard from him that I remember is that, like, there are currently no plans to delay the release, so it's apparently still on schedule. It would not be weird if it got delayed, because I think the last 2 GTA games have been delayed. I think GTA 5 and GTA 4 were both delayed. So it would be very surprising if it actually released on time, because it releases late so often. Which is, you know, that's not meant to be like an insult. That's just the nature of how big Rockstar's games are. They are very extensive, and there's a lot of attention to detail put into those games. Regardless of what you think of them as a company or what they, regardless of what you think of Rockstar, you can't deny that they put a lot of effort and care into their games. And more often than not, it pays off. I hope GTA 6 isn't dropping this year. GTA 6 will give you a free prostate cancer exam with purchase. I mean, it's going to be expensive, so you would hope so. But not really, though, because that would be weird. God, that is insane. It took almost all of my PP to get Kiryu 1 level. That's worrying. But we did it. GTA 6 better change my whole life when I play it. I mean, that seems to be what they're aiming for. They're aiming for GTA 6 to be like the best GTA experience. I hope it comes to the Switch 2. If it comes to the Switch 2, it's absolutely going to be a worse version. Because as powerful as the Switch 2 is, it looks like GTA 6 is trying to push current hardware to its absolute max. Like, apparently, GTA 6 will only run at 60 FPS on the PS5 Pro. It will apparently be a locked 30 FPS on current-gen hardware. Which is just insane. In an era where 60 FPS has become more of a standard, the fact there's a new game coming out that will be locked at 30 FPS on current hardware, except for the most expensive one, is just insane to think about. Because this game has to be like the most visually breathtaking game to ever release for that to be justified, in my opinion. I remember A Plague Tale Requiem was 30 FPS locked when it came out, and I was like, really? In this day and age? Don't get me wrong, the game looks great, but like, really? You couldn't have done a performance mode? Like, even if a performance mode is not that good, like, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's performance mode fucking sucks. It makes the game look really blurry. But I would still rather there be the option, right? Like, I don't want to feel like... I know that, you know, one of the compromises of playing on console is you have to play the experience that the developers or publishers or both want to give you. But, like, it's... There's just a point where you're like, man, I really wish I would have the choice when not presented with a choice. It's funny that this music is playing now, because we're going to be hearing it in like half an hour against Red in the game. So, yeah, this is just like a preamble, I guess. Dun, 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 dun. What's this place called again? Vaniville Town from X and Y? I want people to run at 120 FPS, but that would never happen. Well, we don't know how much Legend ZA is being improved by the Switch 2 edition, because we know almost nothing about the game in general, really. Obviously, we will hear more when I assume September Pokemon Presents happens, because that's when they usually hold a second Pokemon Presents in a year before a major release. Whenever that second presentation ends up being, it might even be August. They will definitely be talking about both the base game and then also what we can expect to see from the Switch 2 edition. Because all we know about the Switch 2 edition is that enhanced resolution and frame rate, but like every Nintendo Switch 2 edition they've announced so far has had either mouse mode functionality or extra content. Now, I'm assuming it's not going to have extra content because that would just be really unfair to Switch 1 players, and there'd be I think a big stink about it, because like, you know, imagine locking content behind the Switch 2 edition. That would be really shit. So I think the best way for them to go about it would be to I don't know, add mouse... How would you add mouse mode controls to Pokemon? Would it be like a mini game that you play? I'm trying to think. How would that work? Locking Pokemon to the Switch 2? Look, I'm not trying to say that Game Freak is a paragon of, like, good faith, but I would not put it past Game Freak to do that. But, like, I also can't see Game Freak doing it, because that would just be insane. Like, putting Pokemon behind DLC, you could argue, is scummy enough. I don't think they would put Pokemon behind a performance. Like, the thing with the Switch 2 editions is that they seem to be glorified patches, next-gen patches. They're not like, oh, re-download the entire game again, but digitally. They're basically paid updates that make the game run better and have some extra content. So, I really, really doubt that there would be an exclusive Pokemon behind the Switch 2 edition. If they do that, I think even more of their goodwill with the fan base would evaporate. Because that would just be very scummy. Whenever they've done new Pokemon, they've always made it like a separate thing from the base release, right? So if they put Pokemon behind a different version of the base release, I guess you can say that, like, version exclusives is basically that, but, like, I don't know, it's one thing to do that on the same console, but to put it, like, make it a console generation difference would just be extremely fucked. So I'd like to think that's not going to happen, but I also can't rule it out because Game Freak is not particularly consumer friendly at the best of times. So we'll just have to wait and see. Stop missing. Jeez. You didn't used to miss this frequently. What happened? Yeah, and that's gonna get shown at the next Pokemon Presents, whenever that ends up being. I'm assuming it's going to be a November release, because that's when, like, their last 3 holiday releases have come out. Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond, Shiny Pearl, and Scarlet and Violet were all November releases, so I'm assuming it's going to be the exact same deal. But yeah. I mean, it could come out late October, but November seems to be their sweet spot now. When's the Mario Kart World stream? It is next... It's either Wednesday or Tuesday, or it could even be Thursday, I don't remember. It's next week. I will be reacting to that, for sure. Okay, I'm going to fly to the Pokemon Center because Kiryu needs his PP back. But this could very well be the last Pokemon Center visit before... Okay, maybe the penultimate Pokemon Center visit before we fight Red. Because once I get everybody to level 87, I'll be using a rare candy on each of them to get them to 88, and that'll be the end of the training. End of the grinding. Yep. I'm interested to see what they announced in the Direct that wasn't in, like, the Treehouse footage, because we have seen a lot of Mario Kart World gameplay thanks to Nintendo Treehouse Live and people getting their hands on the game and filming their experience. So I'm interested to see just how much they're going to show that we haven't already seen. Like, maybe they're going to tell us how to unlock the characters and outfits, maybe they'll reveal just how many characters and outfits there will be. But it looks really, really fun. Like, I didn't think I'd be this excited for a Mario Kart game. But, like, it just looks like such a huge... It looks like an actual evolution of the game. Similarly to how, like, Mario 64 was an evolution of what Mario could be, Breath of the Wild was an evolution of what what Zelda could be, and Mario Kart World feels like an evolution of what Mario Kart can be. I'm really excited. Fantastic song. That finger click in the right ear sounds so good. I can imagine like a, I'm imagining like, what do they call it? West Side Street, that Broadway like retelling of Romeo and Juliet. I think there's a song where they like, all the guys are like clicking their fingers. It reminds me of that. Finger clicking is just a really nice sound. Kind of want to listen to it again, actually. That bass is so nice. The bass, the piano, it's also good. Sorry, not piano, organ. Charlie is back. Hell yeah. Freddy Fazbear is fighting local bears. The bear extinction that is canon to the FNAF universe, it was actually caused by Freddy Fazbear. Yeah, don't you know, but bears are canonically extinct in the FNAF universe, or at least by the time Tales from the Pizzaplex, by the time Security Breach happens, bears are extinct. We have no idea why. I think it's just a funny detail they threw in because they could. I don't think they put any more thought into it, but yeah, it's funny. Jack Slash likes this worm reference, of course. Obligatory worm reference. Hey, it's Arvin's battle theme. The battle theme of the best character in Scarlet and Violet's main cast. And of course, like a good character, he has... That is an accordion, right? It might not be an accordion, but it's something. It sounds like an accordion or something similar. I just like that instrument, how that instrument sounds. They should make Jad's battle theme in the next Pokemon game. I don't even know what my battle theme would sound like. I don't really have an idea of what I'd want my battle theme to sound like. What my character would be. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Freddy Fazbear is the first Pokemon to officially reach level 88. And there he is, level 88. Five Night Freddy. Jack Slash is a character who influences those with powers so that they just can't kill them. Like they purposely miss shots without realizing it, or they can't bring them to do it. The community made a popular theory that a cape who could summon bears as their power, just normal bears, no power fuckery, that they could beat Jack Slash. I see. Sounds interesting. So Jack Slash being afraid of bears is a popular meme. Gotcha. Oops. Hey, it critted. Nice. Hillary. I don't care. Memes. The memes. Sorry, that was an extremely bad impression of Raiden. I don't know any new memes. That is absolutely not a new meme. That is a... That's not even, like, it's not even technically a meme, it's just a quote from a video game. Flint and Steel. I haven't even, like, fucking... I don't even know the context behind that, other than the fact that it's from the Minecraft movie. Alright, Toffee is now the next Pokemon to reach level 88. Congratulations. Flint and Steel to open the Nether up. Oh, right, to create the Nether portal. Yes, that makes sense. Hey, it's Ultra Necrozma. Level 88 versus level 1. Hey, remember, that guy beat Red with level 1 Pokemon by using, like, Destiny Bond and Endeavor. It worked. And I think that whole thing being a thing that is possible is a really good testament to, like, if you just come up with the right strategy, you can win almost any fight in Pokemon, right? Well, I guess it depends on the moves that are available to you and the items that are available to you, but, like, overall, across the entire franchise, you can almost come up with any kind of strategy that will allow you to win a fight. And, I mean, you know, you can say that about any turn-based RPG, really, but, like, I think in the vacuum of Pokemon, it's very fascinating. Can't wait in Legend ZA, I start at rank Z, then go to A. I can't believe it. That's actually a question I have about Legend ZA. I wonder if they're going to do something like gym battles, where, like, maybe every few ranks you have to fight a specific trainer to progress to the next rank, and they're like a gym leader. That could be really cool. That could be an interesting way to implement gyms into this new structure they're doing. Because what, there's 26 ranks to work through, right? Or is it a case of, like, rank A is the top, and once you reach rank A, you're, like, the champion, so it would technically be 25 ranks to work through? I think there's a lot they can do with this structure they're doing. I'm really interested to see how it plays out. Yeah, obviously I know that A is the best rank and Z is the worst rank, but, like, I'm just wondering if it's gonna be there's still enemies to, like, there's still trainers to beat within the A rank before you attain the rank of the highest trainer. Like, if there are A rank trainers you have to fight, or if it's going to be nobody is currently in A rank, and once you reach A rank, you are at the top. That's what I'm curious about. Start at rank 1000 and have to go to 1. That sounds like a nightmare. Unless the progression is fairly quick, that doesn't sound fun. Yay! Bitch 2 is now level 88. Congratulations. Next up is Helio. That would keep people playing, but I wouldn't even get to one. I mean, it would keep some people playing. I don't know if it would keep everybody playing. People would probably find it too tedious and just stop. What if Bitch 2 get added to next Pokemon? I mean, that's just Crobat. I want to see more poison flying types. I still think the Zubat line is the only poison flying type line we have. Which is ridiculous, in my opinion. What if the rank system is in the new Pokemon Champions game? Yeah, I wonder if there will be a rank. I mean, I'm assuming there'll be a ranking system in it, I just don't know how it's gonna work. Final rank is called Master. Yeah, like a Master Ball. You could have like normal rank, great rank, ultra rank, premier rank, or like, you know, name the ranks after like Pokeball types. That could be cool. At least the Pokeball types that make the most sense, right? Obviously, having a rank called like Timer rank or Quick rank would be a bit weird, but that could be cool. No, I didn't mean to use Shadow Ball. Oh wow, Swift doesn't one-shot. Interesting. I want a noob rank, pro rank. They probably will do that. Because we're assuming that Champions is going to be the hub for competitive. Right? That's what it seems to be. And I hope that's the case. I hope that in this next Presents, before they show off Legends ZA, they do a bit of a deep dive on Champions and explain what it's actually going to be. And I hope that that explanation reveals that it is going to be the hub for competitive Pokemon from here on out, because I think that's a very good idea. Alright, Helio has now also reached level 88. Chat. Only 2 Pokemon left. And we're going to start with Kiryu because he's the slowest one to level up. We're going to get him out of this hole right now. I want it to be the hub for pro stuff so mainline can do whatever it wants. Yeah, that's it, right? Like, there'll be no more pressure of having to make a gimmick that works for competitive. And even then, like, they could just, you know... I didn't mean to use Mach Punch there. I don't know what I was doing. That's fine. Like, if they really want to implement a mechanic from the mainline games into Champions, instead of like making it in the mainline game work the way it would work in Champions, they can make it work a certain way, and then when they bring it over to the new one, it just works differently. It has a different functionality, right? A functionality that's not broken and is balanced and is interesting. So it's not like any gimmick from here on that is too weird for competitive. It's not like they can't retrofit it to make it work in competitive, right? So the possibilities are endless, really. They just need to actually go in that direction. We have no idea what direction they're going to go in. So I hope that's what we see. I really hope that's what we see. I mean, I don't think Z-moves were really that popular, were they? I feel like Z-moves are probably the gimmick that people don't, like, maybe they don't necessarily dislike it, but I feel like they talk about it the least. Dynamax gets talked about because people didn't like it, but at least gets talked about. Z-moves, nobody really talks about. Which is understandable. They're basically just super powerful moves you can use once per battle, which is a little bit boring. Jamie wants to battle me on Route 26, huh? I might take her up on that. I like it, but no one yaps about it. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird gimmick. Because, like, oh, super powerful move. But, like, some of the moves don't actually go that much further beyond... I guess, actually, I guess when you factor in stab bonus, it does actually increase the power by quite a lot. But, I don't know, using it as a mechanic didn't really feel all that rewarding from when I was playing with it. I don't know. I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad gimmick, it's just one of the least memorable ones, because it's just like, oh, you know, what it is in practice is very, very simple. So, yeah. I'm very interested to see, because, like, there's going to be Dynamaxing in Champions. I'm pretty sure they've already confirmed that through the trailer. I'm really interested to see if they do any balancing changes for Dynamax, or if it's just going to be what it is. Because they've implied from the trailer that there's going to be both Terrestrialization and Dynamaxing, and if those interact with each other, I feel like they're going to have to do some major balancing changes to how they work, because Dynamaxing, to my knowledge, is, all of your stats are doubled except for HP. I could be wrong. I think that's how it works. All of your stats get doubled except for your HP, and then after 3 turns it goes away. With Terra moves, it's, oh, you get an extra stab bonus on top of the move. If you use a move that is the same type as your Terra type while you're Terrestrialized, there's an extra stab bonus applied, and so it's like, if it's a stab move already, you get a double stab bonus. If it's not a normal stab move, then it becomes a stab move. There's like that. It's very much geared towards competitive balance, in my opinion. So I'm just really interested to see how they decide to balance Terrestrialization versus Dynamaxing, because they're very, very different mechanics. One affects the stats of your Pokemon, one affects the power of a move. Very specifically. So I'm interested to see how they decide to balance it. Maybe they'll make, like, Dynamaxing only 1.5 times all stats instead of double or something like that, you know? Like, there's a lot they can do. I can't wait to see how Champions Champions matches play with the gimmicks. Yeah, I'm interested to see what that ends up being like too. Giant Pikachu versus Mega Pokemon. Giant Pikachu should win all the time. I mean, again, it depends on what they decide to do with balancing. I'm glad these Quagsires don't have water absorb. That's very handy to take them out in one shot. The giant Pokemon was the only thing I liked about Sword and Shield. That was actually one of the things I disliked about the game. Interesting to see how our opinions differ. It's a shame because I wanted to like Sword and Shield more than I ended up liking it. Like, I still like the games. Like, I'll go back and replay them one day. But, like, well, I mean, I guess I kind of did just recently to get the, to get Regidrago and Glastrier. Because I picked Spectrier and Regieleki on my first playthrough. So, I mean, I kind of have gone back and played Sword and Shield. But I was kind of just trying to speed through it to get the Pokemon. But yeah. I hated that one so much, but I found my love was for giant Pokemon since it was goofy. That's valid. It is a goofy mechanic. Oh, I actually got put to sleep. He's not using Earthquake though, which is good. It was set somewhere I didn't like. You have like you have such a loathing for your own region of the world that you live in. It's so fascinating to me. Yeah, I guess if you have a distaste for a certain part of the world, then yeah, having the game set there doesn't help. I will agree with you that it felt boring. Also, like, the whole, the conflict with Rose felt so weird. Like, oh, I'm gonna solve this energy problem that we're not gonna have to worry about for the next few hundred years, but I want to solve it now, and I'm willing to end the world over it. It's like, bro, what are you, like, calm down. What is your problem? Anyway, chat, we've did it. Everybody's level 88. I just need to now go fly to the Pokemon Center to heal, and then make my way back up to where Red is, and we'll be fighting Red. So, as I fly to this Pokemon Center, let me just stop the music that I'm playing and listen to the game music instead. Actually, no, I'll save that until I get to Red, because I'm going to be doing a lot of fast-forwarding still. Also, before I fight Red, I should probably just make my way there first. I want to show the damage calculations that I did on stream, because obviously they're not going to be perfectly in date, because these calculations came from when I was looking at doing level 85 against Red, and then I changed my mind, but like, we can still kind of extrapolate from what I put in, which may be a little inaccurate, but it will be close enough. I just think it'll be interesting. I just think it will be interesting to look at the data that I gathered and compare it to what we're more likely going to see. Because I would do the damage calculations for my Pokemon now, but I guess it was time consuming because I had to like guess what my Pokemon's EVs and IVs were, because I have no way of knowing them without like going into like game code or something. So I just kind of put in numbers until they matched what was on the screen. So I guess that's something I can do. I can put in what's on this. I can put in what's on what was in those screenshots for. I really shouldn't have done that. I should have just saved my PP. Oh well. I can save what's. I can take what was in the screenshots that I took, put it into the web page again, and then just increase the levels of the Pokemon by 3. And see if the new stats for those level 88 Pokemon match what I put in, or match what's in the game, to see if, like, because I don't know if having, like, say, 31 IVs is more important than having 252 EVs, right? Like, I don't know if there's, like, an importance scale in terms of what makes your stat better. I don't think there is, but just in case, if there is, we will find out, because if the stats don't match up with what I put in, then that will mean that the stats have actually changed since then. But yes, this will be interesting to see. Now that we're back here. Okay. So we're back at the entrance to the fight. Let's stop the music right there. And let's listen to the actual game audio while I show you guys some stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot that's the music for Mount Silver. Do we want to listen to that, or... Yeah, let's listen to the Mount Silver music. Okay. So... let me get these screenshots imported into OBS. They're gonna really cover the screen, but they're worth adding, I think. Actually, no, hang on. I'm not gonna do that. Instead, I'm gonna do the actual damage calculations now, using those numbers. Alright, Pokemon damage calculator. So... for the first thing, let's do Lantern, blank set. Now, what kind of... so I feel pretty confident about Pikachu. I don't have to worry about Pikachu at all. Nah, this is too time consuming. Fuck this, I'm just gonna show the screenshots I took. The Dragon of Kanto is coming for you, so hide. Red better watch out. Alright, I'm going to add the images. Pictures, screenshots, was it? Damage calculations. Okay, so there's a lot going on here, but what we got here is Crobat versus Venusaur, which I think is the best matchup. Oh, I should probably make this smaller so I can still see chat. I just remembered this game is set in Japan. This is a damage calculator, tags. This is what I've been using to try and figure out whether I can beat Red or not. So, what we are seeing here is me taking the stats of my Crobat at level 85, or at least what I believed it was going to be at level 85, and then figuring out how much damage I will do against Venusaur, and how much damage Venusaur will do against me, given certain stats. Jack, hurry up and say what you want to say. I actually can't see what's on what you're saying. It wasn't anything helpful, I don't think. So as we can see here, Fly is a guaranteed 2-hit KO. Wing Attack is only a certain chance to 2-hit KO. But as you can see, Venusaur barely does anything to me. So Crobat is very, very safe against Venusaur. And as you can see, I've even taken some extra measures, like because the natures of Red's Pokemon are actually randomized, so I assume that he has Bold plus Defense minus Attack, which is the best nature for Venusaur to have for this specific instance of me trying to take out Venusaur with physical moves. As you can see, yeah, I definitely am safe using Crobat. But then, for example, if I were to use Electro against Blastoise, we instead have, as you can see, Focus Blast is a problem from Blastoise. That is something I have to worry about, because Focus Blast is a guaranteed 2-hit KO, assuming it hits. It does have a 30% chance to miss, but Blastoise is a slight concern for Lanturn, because Lanturn is the best Pokemon to counter Blastoise with, and so it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this fight plays out. A lot of this fight hinges on Lanturn being alive, because Lanturn is such a good counter for so many of these Pokemon. The good news about Blastoise, however, is that I actually outspeed Blastoise, and Discharge is a guaranteed 2-hit KO, so Lanturn should only be able to Lanturn should only be hit by Focus Blast once. Which is a good thing. That's very good. What was another thing that was important? I was going to use Kiryu against Snorlax. Now, Snorlax has two things it can do. It can either go for Blizzard, or it can go for Giga Impact. Blizzard is probably what it's going to opt for, because that doesn't put it in recharge, and it's super effective. But as we can see here, with a level 85 Breloom, mine is now level 88, so it actually has slightly better defense. Oh, sorry, slightly better special defense than what's being shown here. But even if Snorlax has a beneficial nature for special attack, Quiet in this instance, it cannot one-shot me unless it crits. Which is good, because Breloom will act first, even if I don't use Muck Punch. I think I'll use Muck Punch and then use Force Palm, so I don't put it in healing range. Because that's going to be the other important thing, making sure it doesn't go into healing range with my moves. This looks confusing. It is confusing, but really the only thing you need to worry about is the text that says level 82 special attack Snorlax Blizzard versus level 85 Breloom. 82.3 to 97.7% guaranteed 2-hit KO. That's the most important thing. We're trying to figure out how much damage the Pokemon's moves are going to do against my Pokemon, basically. What's another, like, somewhat interesting case? I'd say Lapras. Again, Lanturn is the best one to use against Lapras. I think Discharge now has a chance to 2-shot, now that Lanturn is a higher level. But the good news is, Lapras can't, like, 3-hit KO Lanturn unless it crits all the time. And Body Slam's maximum damage is actually less than 25% if it doesn't crit, because my defense is now higher. So, as you can see, a lot of all of this depends on what natures Red's Pokemon have, and also making sure that Lanturn stays alive. I'll probably have to heal Lanturn a few times during this fight, but the point is, I think we are safe. I think we can beat Red, because I've done damage calculations, and these are from 3 levels ago, so I'm actually stronger and more bulky. I'm physically more powerful and defensively more bulky than I was in these calculations. So, without further ado, chat, it is time for us to fight Red. So, we're going to lead with Electro, because Electro is the best Pokemon to counter Pikachu with. And then I have Pokemon in mind to... Actually, I should probably look at what items I have. Are there any items I can give to other Pokemon to make them a bit more effective? What is Quick Powder? Boost speed. That could be helpful. Lantern isn't exactly the fastest Pokemon. Quick Claw could also be good. I don't have any Pokemon with Ice moves, I don't think. That'll be fine. What does Light Clay do? Extends the duration of barrier moves. I don't have any barrier moves. Mental Herb snaps the holder out of infatuation. Interesting. Big Root makes absorb moves better. Is Grip Claw just, yeah, multi-turn attacks, and then Pure Incense is keeps wild Pokemon away. Alright, so I think I'm going to give... What's my slowest Pokemon? Is it Electro? 171... Yes, okay. So I'm going to give Electro the Speed Powder. Sorry, the Quick Powder. And then I think Freddy Fazbear was the second slowest? Actually, I'm not planning to use Freddy Fazbear for any of these Pokemon, so I'd be better off giving it to a Pokemon that I do want to use. What does Bitch 2 have? Hang on. Amulet Coin, that's not helpful. Let's give it the Quick Claw instead. Wait, no, hang on, it outspeeds the Pokemon I'm going to use it against, never mind. Helio, Destiny Knot. We're going to give you something else. You don't need a Quick Claw either, though. I'll give Kiryu the Quick Claw. I gotta give these Pokemon something. I can't just put them into battle with nothing. I will give Freddy Fazbear the... Actually, I don't really have anything to give to Freddy Fazbear, so never mind. And obviously I'm going to give Toffee the Charcoal to make fire attacks do more damage. But yes, without further ado, this is going to be peak. I don't like Red. He's been up to no good, I believe. Thanks, Liz. Can't wait for Jad to team wipe. Believe in Jad, and Red is going to be going after this fight. Yep, hopefully. Alright. Let's do this. Oh, hang on. I'm restarting. Sorry. I forgot to turn battle animations back on. I'm so sorry about that anticlimactic start. I completely forgot. I want battle animations to be on. They make the fight way more cool. Not bag. I want to go to settings. Look at this wannabe Ash. I mean, he basically is Ash. Battle scene on. There we go. Alright. After 123 hours and 48 minutes of in-game time, we are finally fighting Red. Properly this time. Alright. Now here we go. Alright, so. Yep, I had a feeling he'd go for Iron Tail. Doesn't do a lot, which is good. Okay, yep, it survived, but Hail might finish it off. Let's see if Hail finishes it off. It does. Very good. Sending out Venusaur next. That is going to be a job for Bitch 2. This is what Bitch 2 was made for. There is almost nothing that Venusaur can do against me. Alright, miss with Sleep Powder. And thanks to Hail, Wing attack will be a 2-hit KO. Lapras is next. This is Electro. Now, I don't know how much damage this is going to do. A little under half, I think. Body Slam will do... Okay, Paralysis kind of sucks, but that's okay. We do have full restores. And as we know, Lapras is Ice type, so it doesn't take any hail damage. Let's try... Can I just use a full restore here? I think that's the safest play. Gonna get my own stream going now. Good luck, Curb. And I hope you have fun. So it does about 80 damage. And then Hail adds like, what, an extra 15 onto that? Oh, an extra like 20. Okay. Can we get a high roll? We got a high roll. Hell yeah. Snorlax. Alright, Kiryu. Now it's your turn. Okay, good. This is perfect. Now, Blizzard can only one-shot if it crits. Very good. Well done, Kiri. You've done exactly what I need you to do. I don't need you for the rest of the fight, I don't think. Because Force Palm will finish off. Charizard, alright, that's very easy. That's another Electro. Job? It's going for Flare Blitz, that's interesting. I thought it was going to go for Dragon Pulse. Very interesting. This should one-shot, I think. Oh, so close. That's okay. The hail will take it out now. Man, hail is such a clutch thing to have here. Alright, Blastoise, so I'm going to keep Electro out, but I'm going to heal. You see now why Electro was so important for this fight. Now, Blastoise has Focus Blast, which can do a decent amount of damage. This is going to be the real test for Electro here. Okay, the first one is hit. How much damage does it do? Okay, only 84 on a non-crit, which means I think we're safe. And it missed. Thank you, 30% chance to miss. I love you. Beautiful. The hail shouldn't put him in healing range, but it might. I don't know if that's close enough. Haha, he missed again. Alright. So I may have over-prepared, but who cares? We beat red. And I didn't even go over the level cap. I want to make that abundantly clear. I didn't, like, over-grind, really, because I kept to the level cap. No. No. I feel like a huge weight just got taken off my shoulders. My main goal there was to not lose a single Pokemon. So not losing Kiryu is awesome. And also we had no bad luck. Oh, man. Thank goodness. I'm able to appreciate the credit sequence for this game so much more now, because last time it was like, oh yeah, I beat the Pokemon League, but I had the unfortunate like side effect of oh, I lost 3 Pokemon and I have more game to go, but now I can properly enjoy the credit sequence because I'm actually done. I've actually beaten the toughest trainer in the game without a single casualty, which is just, oh, I'm so happy. Now, I want to make it abundantly clear, I am not playing another Nuzlocke for a while. This was kind of draining. So, yeah, I don't know when I'll be doing my Omega Ruby / Alpha Sapphire Nuzlocke, but I will do it eventually. It's just a matter of when, which is, yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm just very happy that I've finished it. Next year I'm going to stream for second streams. I think it's going to be, I like the way the credits theme ends. I think, when does, I need to look this up. When does, 100 line come out? It comes out on the 24th of April. Okay. When is the 24th of April on the calendar? That is 2 Thursdays from now. Okay. So, I think my plan for next week is obviously Undertale Deltarune on... Undertale. On, Sunday. And then, I think instead of doing a game second stream and then the direct reaction, I think I'm just gonna have the direct reaction be my second stream for that week. And then the following week, I'll be playing Deltarune or Undertale Yellow, depending on what I decide to do. And then the second stream will be the beginning of 100 Line Last Defense Academy, because I want to play that. Although, hang on, I need to find out if that's a Thursday or a Friday for me. Let me look at Steam. Because this might be the American release date, the 24th of April. It might be 25th of April for me. I like this music box version of the credits theme. Sounds nice. It comes out... Okay, it says 24th of April for me, so I guess it will... Oh, well, hang on. I don't know if this is... like, 24th of April at, like, midnight, or, like, 11 PM. So... it's either going to be a Thursday or a Friday stream for 100 Line. But it'll be, like, around the time it comes out, so... That's that. So, the second stream for next week is just going to be... The second stream next week is just going to be the Mario Kart Direct reaction. But yeah, we did it, guys. We beat the SoulSilver Nuzlocke. I'm really, really happy. I had a lot of fuck-ups at the beginning, but I really, like, refined myself at the end there. So, yeah. That is gonna... do it for SoulSilver. However, I am not done streaming. I want to make that abundantly clear. I'm actually going to boot up my Switch now. Because I want to fulfill my promise. Let me just fix the chat window again, because it's still adhering to the Nuzlocke chat window. Chat box, 22 pixel font size, CSS, reset code, off, save settings. There we go. So chat should be the right size again, and for some reason, the game isn't coming through. That's a bit weird. I thought the capture card was plugged in. Hold on. I'll be right back. I've got to fix this. Yeah, I figured out the problem. The AC adapter wasn't plugged in. Okay. So. Oh, there's no audio? What the hell? Hold on. Ah, it's not recognizing it. There we go. I accidentally set it to my microphone instead of the Switch. That was weird. Oh yeah, I gotta turn the audio up because it's set to like minus 12 decibels at the moment. Alright. I also need to connect to the internet. Oh my god, I love the Switch 1. They should make a Switch 2. What a crazy concept. Do a genocide run on another Switch account so it doesn't mess with your main save. Liz, again, it ruining my save file is not the only reason I don't want to do it. The other reason I don't want to do it is because the Sans fight is fucking hard. I don't want to put myself through that again. That sucked. Anyway, I'm finally doing what I promised you guys. I'm showing you my Switch home. Sorry, my Pokemon home. So I have 881 Pokemon deposited. I have 976 out of 1,025 registered, so I almost have all the Pokemon registered. So let's have a look at who we have in here. I had to refresh the stream on my end? Oh, that was weird. Oh wait, no, I dropped 980 frames. What the hell? Why did that happen? Okay, that's a little bit concerning. Anyway, this first box that I'm in right now, obviously as you can see, it's the 53rd home box. It's not the first one. But this group of Pokemon right here was my competitive team back in Sword and Shield. I had a Dragapult, a special attacking Dragapult, I should say. Oh wait, no, it was a physical attacking one that also had Flamethrower. Never mind. My shiny Corviknight. Oh, hang on, let me change mode. So I have a shiny Corviknight, which is very cool. And then I had Mimikyu, Togekiss, a special attacking Togekiss, a specially defensive bulk Toxapex, and then Tyranitar, a special attacking / physical attacking Tyranitar. I really should have given it a better nature, as opposed to like increase special attack, decrease attack. That's not good. And then of course Dracovish, because Vicious Rend is so ridiculously powerful for some reason. And then we got Ferrothorn, who is another bulky Pokemon that I used to use for like Gyro Ball and Body Press. And Heat Rotom. I didn't really use Rotom and Whimsicott because I didn't like have them refined yet. But yeah, it is a prankster Whimsicott, so Leech Seed, Cotton Guard, and Tailwind was very... It would have been really annoying if I used it against enemies. I never got my Kommo-o set up for competitive either. Same with the Excadrill. These ones were just kind of sitting here thinking like, oh yeah, I could use them. And there's just a random Galarian Corsola. Let me go all the way back to... No, I don't want to change the name of the box. I want to... Oh my god, okay, that's the list view. Hold on a minute. Where do I... Do I have to scroll through all of them like this? Oh, that sucks. Well, anyway, yeah, you're seeing a bunch of Pokemon right now. And then you're seeing this. So, okay. I used to order my boxes by type. I don't do that anymore. But yeah, as Sprigatito is not a legendary. As much as I love Sprigatito, you just aren't. You can go in the grass box, I guess. Where the fuck is the grass box? Why is it so far back? There it is. You can go here. Anyway, so I have 2 legendary boxes because I have too many. Now what are these from? Okay, so this was my Mega Mewtwo Y from X and Y. These are the legendary beasts that I caught in Omega Ruby. This is not actually my Lugia. It was traded to me by a person who you can now see is called Vicieldo or Vicieldo. This looks like it was a Pokemon Moon Lugia? No, sorry, an Ultra Moon Lugia. This is my Ho-Oh from Omega Ruby, and it says punishment is not a move anymore, which kind of sucks. These are my Regis from Omega Ruby. This is my Latias and my Latios. And then there's my cousin's Kyogre that he very kindly gave to me. And my Groudon. Fuecoco is also not a legendary. You're not supposed to be here. Jeez. At least the firebox is just here. Alright, where were we? Deoxys. Okay, so, this Deoxys is actually an event Deoxys from Black 2, as you can see from the fateful encounter in Unova in 2013. Yeah, that was an event Deoxys. That was pretty cool. It's apparently meant to be Team Plasma's Deoxys, which is interesting, because the OT is Plasma. And then we have my Deoxys from Omega Ruby that I turned into Speed form, because I already have Attack form. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. The Delta episode in Omega Ruby was so cool. These are also from Omega Ruby, except for Mesprit. This Mesprit's from Black 2, I believe. But yeah, Uxie and Zelf are from Omega Ruby. Dialga from my cousin as well, in Hoenn. Palkia from mine. I found it very weird that they put Palkia in Omega Ruby and Dialga in Alpha Sapphire, despite them usually doing, like, left and right things. I don't know, it was weird. Heatran, so far it looks like these are all Omega Ruby. This was the 25th anniversary Manaphy that was in my Omega Ruby. Same with this Darkrai, that was also a 25th anniversary. And I guess Shaman and Arceus are as well. And then Victini. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, so Darkrai was May, Manaphy was June, Shaman was July, Arceus was August, and Victini was September. Because they did, like, a different mythical Pokemon every month. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And then if we go to the next box, I've got my Therian form... whatever the fuck you call these Pokemon? From Omega Ruby, except for this Thundurus, which is from Black 2. Yeah, 2012, there you go. Reshiram from Hoenn. Quaxley, okay, you're also not a legendary. Get out of here, Quaxley. Where's the water box? There you are. Anyway. As you can see, I haven't sorted through these boxes in a while. Next up, we have Landorus in Therian form. What, he is legendary. Yeah, so Landorus in Therian form. I always thought Therian form Landorus was the coolest out of the three of them. I like that it's like a tiger. We got the shiny Enamorus. That was a reward for completing the, it was a reward for completing the Hisui Pokedex. That's why it still has, like, all the Legends Arceus stats and stuff. We got Keldeo. This is my Omega Ruby Keldeo, from the October event. And as you can see here, this is the Keldeo that I have mentioned a few times. This is the Keldeo from the original event. And just to make sure that I was right in saying that this is, like, the day before the event ended, it was on the 9th of February. Let me look up the Keldeo events on Cerebi and see when the original event ended. Need to look at the 2013 one. Oceania, second chance event. Keldeo in Black, White, Black 2 and White 2. OT is Win 2013, which is what it has. End date 12th of February. Okay, so it was 3 days before the end of the it was 3 days before the end of the event, but still, I got very, very lucky to get that Keldeo when I did, because I literally just checked Mystery Gift to see if there was something there, and I got Keldeo. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. I'm really happy that I have this Keldeo. And then we got my Solgaleo from Pokemon Sun. Wait, no. It's from Galar. Never mind. It's from Sword and Shield DLC. Never mind. And then I have a bunch of Meltan. Yeah, from Pokemon Go, because that's how Pokemon Go works. And then I have a shiny Zamazenta from the... what kind of event was it? I don't remember. But yeah, I shot a shiny Zamazenta, because it was like, you get a shiny Zamazenta in Sword and a shiny Zacian in Shield for some reason. I don't know why they did that, but that's what they did. And then 2 shiny Steel Pokemon, a shiny Metagross that could Mega Evolve in Omega Ruby, and a shiny Aggron that could Mega Evolve in Omega Ruby. Those were both very, very cool. I caught this shiny Aggron as a Lairon in Victory Road. That was really cool. In my fire one, I've got Delphox from Carlos, but it was from the time I replayed it in 2015. Interesting. Huh. Okay. I assumed it was from like Omega Ruby or something. Camerupt from Omega Ruby, Arcanine from Omega Ruby, Alolan Marowak from Galar, Ninetales from Omega Ruby, Growler from Pokemon Go, Houndour from Pokemon Go. These are all Pokemon Go Pokemon, I think. Except for the Chimchar, that is a Pokemon Home. What's that triangle symbol mean? Interesting. Here's a Cyndaquil from some kind of event within Pokemon Home. Got a Ponyta from Pokemon Go, another Cyndaquil, this time for Pokemon Go, and then a Fuecoco from some kind of event within Pokemon Home. There were like events where you could get like all of the starters again, so maybe that's what it was. Got a Rampardos from Black 2, I think. A Kabutops from Omega Ruby. A Golem from Omega Ruby that was found as a shiny Graveler within one of the Mirage Islands, which was really, really cool. So I have a shiny Golem. Pokemon from 10 years ago is crazy. Mine are all from the last 4 years. Yeah, it's really cool to see these Pokemon from Pokemon Bank that I transferred to Pokemon Home. Bastiodon Omega Ruby, Aerodactyl Omega Ruby, Probopass, it's level 11 from Omega Ruby, that's very funny. Solrock from Pokemon Go. Okay, that's interesting. In the flying, we have a Braviary. I actually remember catching this in the air. You could catch Braviary in the air while flying on Latias or Latios in the Gen 3 remake, which was really cool. Got a Murkrow from Omega Ruby, Talonflame from not my original X and Y file, but probably my second playthrough if it was in 2014. So that's pretty cool. Archeops from Omega Ruby, Pidgeot from Omega Ruby, Dodrio from Omega Ruby, Starly from Pokemon Go, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Go. Alright, that's the flying type one. We got Spiritomb from... Don't really have to like check the summary every time. Omega Ruby, Pokemon Go. That's not too surprising. For the dark types, there's an Omega Ruby Zoroark, not a black and white or black 2, white 2. Absol. As you can imagine, these Hoenn Pokemon are from Omega Ruby. The Meowth. Oh yeah, an Alolan Meowth from Galar, right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Fighting. This level 66 Mienfoo, or Mienfoo, however the hell you pronounce it. This is from Black 2, as you can tell from the Unova region in 2013. That's pretty cool. Medicham from Hoenn. Lucario from Galar. Hitmonchan from Galar, Makuhita from Omega Ruby, Pokemon Go. Jad has every Pokemon? I do not. Hydreigon from Black 2, I believe. Dragonite from Black 2, there you go, that's pretty cool. Dradagon from Black 2, Flygon from Black 2. My very original... Wait, no, hang on. First met in the Kalos region, so no. That's actually a replaythrough one. Tyrantrum for one of my X and Y playthroughs. And this right here is my proof of beating the Black Tower in Pokemon Black 2, because this is the shiny Gibble that you get from Alder, that is now evolved into a shiny Garchomp. 16th of May 2013, so that's pretty awesome. And then of course we have a Noivern from X and Y. Oh wait, I forgot about Altaria, my bad. Altaria is also here, from Omega Ruby. Alright, I don't think I have many more shinies to show off. Audino from Omega Ruby, a Glameow from Omega Ruby, a Stoutland, a Linoon, a Rattata from Pokemon Go, as well as an Apom, a Slackoth from Omega Ruby, a Wooloo from Galar. Neat. Just an Igglybuff in the fairy section, that's funny. This one's from Omega Ruby. I wish we could get Sun and Moon on Switch too, I want to replay them. Fair enough. Donphan from Omega Ruby, an Alolan Dugtrio that I got from a Wonder Trade, it looks like, because it's Japanese. That was originally from, I'm guessing from the date, it's Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon. Sandslash from Omega Ruby. This is a Diglett that I caught in the DLC of Sword and Shield. Trapinch from Pokemon Go. Same as the Phanpy. Very neat. Oh, we got a lot of bug types, okay. We got a Forretress from Omega Ruby. Venomoth from Omega Ruby. Beardrill from Omega Ruby. Pinsir. Dustox. This is my third playthrough, it looks like. Vivian from X and Y. As you can see, it has a very nice yellow and blue pattern. I find Vivian very, very cool. The fact that, like, depending on what part of the world you're in, it has a different pattern, I think that's really, really cool. And I really like that this is the pattern of Vivian that I got for my region. I think it's a really, really nice pattern. I think it's like the coastal pattern, which makes sense, because I am, like, within 100 kilometers of the coastline, so it makes sense that they'd give it to me. But I really, really like it. It's really cool. Got Kricketot from Pokemon Go, a Venonat from, wait, what? Hold on a minute. OT is Ash. Was Ash in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee? Well, anyway, from Ash apparently. Weedle from Pokemon Go, a Venonat from Pokemon Go, a Caterpie from Let's Go Pikachu called from an OT from an original trainer of Jun Leo. What the hell? Weird. Wait, it's different in the UK. Cool. I need to see what it is where I live. Yeah. I mean, if you're close enough to the coast, maybe you'll also get Coastal Vivian, but yeah, it's worth looking up. Ladybug from Pokemon Go, Wurmple from Omega Ruby, Burmy from Pokemon Go, Volbeat from Pokemon Go. That's kind of cool. Electric, oh, I have even more here. Okay. Tynamo, Elekid, Zebstrika. This Alolan Raichu is from Galar, not from Omega Ruby. This Pikachu is from X and Y, and it looks like it might have been my original playthrough, considering it was 30th of December 2013, so that's pretty cool. Got a Luxio, Magnemite, Voltorb, Magneton with a special... What kind of Pokeball is that? Whoa. That's a cool Pokeball. Anyway, Rotom from Galar, Shinx from Alola, from an OT of Edge, okay then. A Pokemon Home Rotom, okay. Galar, yeah, that makes sense. I had a shiny Alolan Raichu, but he's long gone. I hope he's out there somewhere. I hope that whoever got him is treasuring him. My Greninja from what looks like my second playthrough of X and Y, 2014. That's pretty cool. Feraligatr from Omega Ruby. Samurott, A fateful encounter in the Hoenn region. Wait, they did an event Samurott? Huh. Okay, that's interesting. Sharpedo from Mega Ruby, Relicanth from Omega Ruby, Horsey, Marshtomp, Galar, Slowpoke. That isn't Galarian. Poliwag from Pokemon Go, Totodile from Pokemon Go, Squirtle from Pokemon Go, a Pokemon Home Oshawott, right, for Legends Arceus. Piplup for Pokemon Home, a Pokemon Go Piplup, and the Pokemon Home Quaxley. Okay. Grass. Oh hey, this is my Mega Sceptile from Omega Ruby. And you can see 22nd of November 2014. That is the launch day of Omega Ruby. That is my day one Sceptile, who I treasure. I love him, even if he's still kind of weak compared to the other starters. Got a Simisage, Superior from an event as well. That's interesting. Chestnut from Carlos, Tangler, Torterra, Alolan Exeggutor from Galar, funnily enough, a Cacnea, a Turtwig, Bulbasaur, another Cacnea, another Turtwig, another Turtwig. There's quite a few event Pokemon in here, actually. Why is Chikorita's cry so short? And the Sunkern and the Sprigatito from the event. Jed about to show us how he has a very hard shiny to get. I don't think I do. I'm assuming these Vulpix, these guys are from... Oh no, they're from... Wait, Galar, Kanto, and Galar. None of them are from fucking... Sun and Moon. That's pretty funny. Okay, I'm not gonna go through these ones one by one, because these boxes from here on out, basically, are my living decks from Sword and Shield. So... we got these guys. Like, these boxes are all in Pokedex order in Sword and Shield. And it's a living dex, which I'm very, very proud of. Yes, so I'm very happy with that. And then I tried to do a living dex for the DLC, but I gave up because it was just getting annoying. But I did have decent progress, as you can see from these Pokemon here. You can see that my Urshifu that I picked, the Urshifu I picked was Rapid Strike Urshifu. And I got this Cubfu in... Whoa, wait a minute. This fucking Cubfu has Pokerus. What? Wait, you're telling me that I got a Pokerus Cubfu from Wonder Trade? That's insane. Who would trade that? I mean, I'm thankful that they did, but wow, okay. That is insane. I had no idea I even had a Pokerus Pokemon in my home. That is nuts. What is that? Pokerus is a very, very rare condition that doubles the amount of EVs you earn on a Pokemon. So it basically doubles how quickly your Pokemon grow in power. It is not a thing anymore. Scarlet and Violet was officially the first game to remove Pokerus entirely. But yeah, like, Pokerus is a very, very rare thing to come across, even rarer than shiny Pokemon. So the fact that I have a Pokemon in my PC that has Pokerus is insane, really. I'm very, very shocked by that. And yeah, these are still Pokemon from the Sword and Shield DLC. As you can see, I got Regieleki, and I've got the Galarian Legendary Birds, which I think are very, very cool. I got Spectrier, and, you know, Calyrex. And then I got my other legendaries. So let's see where these ones are from. Galar, Mewtwo, Omega Ruby. Oh yeah, this is one of the other event Pokemon I got, Mew, from the 25th anniversary. Raikou from Galar, Entei from Galar, Suicune from Galar, Lugia from Galar, Ho-Oh from Galar, the March 25th anniversary event for Celebi, the Shiny Celebi from the Zarude event in Sword and Shield, Groudon from Galar, Rayquaza from Galar, Jirachi from an Omega Ruby event. Oh wait, that was the 25th anniversary actually. That was the April Pokemon. Uxie from Galar, Azel from Galar, Dialga from Galar, Heatran, Giratina, Cresselia, Tornadus, Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion. Wait, hang on a minute. They're from Omega Ruby, actually. That's cool. Reshiram from Galar, Zekrom from my cousin in Alpha Sapphire. You have 4 Delibird shinies? That's cool. I have another Therian form Landorus from Galar. Kyurem from Galar. The Keldeo from, like, actually being able to catch it in the DLC. Xerneas from Galar. Wait, this isn't my original Yveltal. It's from 2014. Unless I, for some reason, took, like, 10 months to catch Yveltal. Maybe I did? I think that's a second playthrough, Yveltal. Actually, I can compare the ID numbers. Hold on. 61838. 61838. 61838. I'll actually type that so I don't forget it. 61838. What's the trainer ID of my Vivian? Wherever the hell that was. Vivian was in the bug box. It is a wait, no, that's 2015. That's an even different one. Shit, which Pokemon did I have that was from my original... Oh, Talonflame. Hold on, where's Talonflame? Talonflame will show off my original trainer ID. Actually, that's my brother's Talonflame. Never mind. What the hell? What? Wait, do I have a single Pokemon in my box that's from my original file? Shit, maybe I don't. Uh-oh. Wait. Shit. What about Mewtwo? That has to be from the first one, right? That's the 6138 and it's 2014. What the hell? Maybe I don't. I'm starting to think I don't. That's kind of crazy. What was this Spiritomb from? Omega Ruby. Oh man. This is from Galar. It's not my Mega Evolution Lucario. Bummer. Oh well, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. I just thought it'd be really cool. Okay, let me go back to where I was. Here we are. Okay. So, this isn't the original Yveltal, but it's, you know, fairly OG. We got Zygarde from Galar. I got Diancie, which, funnily enough, I got on the same day as the Omega Ruby's launch. Was that an event that was specifically for launch? Huh. Well, whatever. Tapu Koko, Tapu Lele, Tapu Bulu, and Tapu Fini from Galar. Solgaleo from Galar. So, fun fact about this Lunala, as you could probably tell, this is a hacked Lunala. Apparently, this Lunala was caught on the 20th of August 2000. That doesn't make any sense. Also, I think it has, like, perfect IVs, which I believe is... It's either so difficult and so unlikely to the point of if you have it, it probably cheated. Or just really really lucky. I don't think though. I don't think it is. I think this is a hacked Lunala though. It is possible that the reason it says August 20th is because they had their 3DS set to 2000 for whatever reason. But I think it's just a hacked Lunala. I've got a Buzzwole because, you know, I love Buzzwole. Buzzwole's my favorite Ultra Beast. So's Pheromosa. Yeah, so I got all these from the, like, the cave, the Max Cave in Galar. I don't know where I got this Poipole from, but it's definitely not mine. I caught this Blacephalon in the cave. Here's a Pokemon Home event. I remember when the first DLC for Sword and Shield came out, they were like, hey, let's all do max raid battles, and if we do enough, we'll give you a Shiny Zeraora, and that's what it's from. So, yeah, Shiny Zeraora from that. That was pretty cool. More Meltan, a level 100... Oh, this is an event Melmetal. Gotcha. Pokemon Home event. It's a Gigantamax Melmetal. Pretty cool. And I have the original Zarude from the event, as well as the Dada form Zarude, the one that has the scarf, which is pretty cool. Another Therian form Landorus, because why not? Oh wait, no, hang on, this is the start of the box again. Okay, gotcha. And then I've got a bunch of Pokemon in here. I got, like, I think there's a Pokemon Home Galar starters, and then we got Mr. Mime for... an event Mr. Mime? Okay, that's odd. Why did they do that? As well as an event Ponyta, an event Corsola... Okay, this must be like my event... This must be my event... my event box. Yeah, so like, I've got all these Pikachus with different Ash hats, and they're all their OTs are Ash, which is pretty cool. Shiny Toxtricity from the Code event, which is pretty cool. These are from... Okay, these aren't event Pokemon. These are Pokemon I got from the Pokemon Violet Terra raids. I bred them from the, like, except for this Decidueye. I don't know where this Decidueye came from, but these are like, wait, it says they're from Galar. Never mind, they're from Galar. Maybe they were max raid events, not what do you call them? Terra raid events. Interesting. Interesting. And then these Pokemon again, and then that's the end of it. So yeah. I might rebuy Violet before I get the Switch 2. Yeah, well, it'll run better on the Switch 2, so that'll be cool. That will definitely, I think, make it worth replaying if you haven't, if you want to go back and replay it. But anyway, I think that's gonna do it from me, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I know I certainly did. It feels really weird to be ending the stream this early. But it feels right, you know, because we've beaten Red, and I've showed you all the stuff I wanted to show you in Pokemon Home. Yeah, this feels like a good place to stop. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Let me get my playlist back up so I can play music in the background. Ooh, Scott has uploaded a video about his thoughts on the Switch 2 Direct. I should watch that after this. Where is my playlist? There it is. Nuzlocke playlist. I don't know, we'll click on like Eterna Forest or something. And then we'll set it to shuffle. Oh, you know what I should play? Geosenge Town. Where's Geosenge Town? I like Geosenge Town. Here it is. I'll play this as we finish the stream. Alright. That's going to do it for my stream, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. As I said before, we will not be doing another Pokemon Nuzlocke for a while because this one kind of took a lot out of me. It was a big time commitment. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed as much as I did, because it was worth it in the end, even though it was a big time commitment. Next stream will be part 2 and probably the finale of my Undertale revisit on Sunday. And then, yeah, I'll talk to you guys more about streams then, but I'm gonna send you guys on a raid, because we currently have 5 viewers, which is kind of crazy. And I want to send you guys to someone that I believe deserves a good raid. So let's go check out... I know that Curb is streaming, so I might go raid him. But who else is streaming? Well, D-Guns is streaming. But Curb only has 1 viewer on Twitch at the moment, so let's go raid Curb. He's cool. He and his mutual friends of mine are playing Borderlands 3. So let's go raid Curb. Let me make sure I get the name right. It's Curbista with a 3, right? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Alright, everybody, we're heading over to go raid Curb with his Borderlands 3 stream. Thank you so much for watching the stream. I hope you enjoyed. And I hope to see you guys for the next one when we play more Undertale on Sunday. Bye, guys.